All right, here we go. Welcome, everybody. Episode number 63 of Sports Cards Live. And what a day it has been so far. What a day it has been. Holy moly. Okay, before we get into it, and I got my guests waiting backstage, I do want to thank last Wednesday's guest, Barry Ma of ComC. Barry, we had a great episode, talked a lot about ComC. A little bit of a preview for the Sports Card Virtual Expo that started today, among other things. Want to let everybody know this coming Wednesday, joining me from Panini is Tracy Hackler, followed by a week today, next Saturday, Ken Reed, anchor on Sportsnet, will be joining me. That should be awesome. He's been on before. He'll be on again, and what a great guest he was the first time. So I'm looking forward to that one next Saturday. And then next Saturday, late night on After Hours, joining me for the third time on Sports Cards Live will be Adam Gray, editor-in-chief at the Basketball Card Fanatic magazine. I want to take a second to shout him out, but we'll do that in a minute. First, I want to welcome all new viewers. If you are joining for the first time, welcome to Sports Cards Live, and thank you very much for joining us. I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Greatly appreciate that. If you wouldn't mind, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that jazz. Thank you so much. Almost at 1,470 subscribers on YouTube, and I want to thank all of you who have subscribed so far. I do greatly appreciate it. Want to get back to Basketball Card Fanatic. I am helping Adam to promote his new magazine. I want to show you guys. We've got 3 issues that have been released so far, and they are all awesome. I have printed them out, double-sided in color, and I can just tell you that front to back, these are awesome magazines, great content, and truly awesome interviews. He's had interviews with Nat Turner, Lior Avidar, some of the people who are kind of trailblazing in the hobby in terms of what they're doing and cards they're buying. This guy here in the interview, he's the gentleman that purchased the LeBron James gold RPA for $1.8 million and the Giannis Logo Man for $1.9 million. So awesome stuff in this magazine. And Adam is offering viewers of Sports Cards Live a 3-month trial for $20. And if you like it, then you can subscribe for the next 9 issues for $60 versus his usual price of $100 for 12 issues. So if you are interested in this, I encourage you to subscribe to the Basketball Card Fanatic by going to paypal.me/basketballcard. Send him $20. It is USD, 20 US dollars. And he will send you the first 3 issues, and then you will get 9 more if you want to renew for $60 for the balance of the year. And again, I wouldn't be promoting his magazine if I didn't really enjoy it myself, and I certainly do. So check that out if you will. Greatly appreciate it. Now, we're going to get on to tonight's guest. And I don't have much of an intro for you tonight because Ameet has been on the show with me a few times. He's a regular on Carlos's channel. I think he might be known as the Ed McMahon of hobby content. So let's just go ahead and bring him out. Ameet Acharya, my man, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm good. I'm expo tired and no voice. That's kind of what I feel right now. So it's good. It's good, man. It's good.
Good. I'm happy. I'm about the same, Ameet. I'm about the same. Today was it was a lot of fun, but I got to admit I'm somewhat exhausted. Like it was what was it, from 9 o'clock till 5 my time, 8 hours of constant talking for the most part. But I got to say, I had a great time. A lot of people visited the booth. A lot of people came up on screen with me. I want to thank all those people, and I am going to name them because I was just so appreciative of everybody that came and hung out. Managed to do a handful of deals today, which was, again, pretty awesome. A good time. But yeah, man, I'm tired too, and we're going to be back at the expo tomorrow. You know, it's 12 hours away pretty much, so we better get on with the show.
Totally, and I love the fact that same thing you mentioned. There are people that hung out with me. I super appreciate them. I'm going to name them as well. But yeah, if those guys hadn't come on, it would have been just me staring into myself talking on the screen. So that would have been funny. So good for that.
For sure, man. It's, it's kind of like when you're at the actual card show, you're sitting at your booth, and I know because you and I, we've been set up next to each other for several years at the expo. We always have a great time, and it's nice to be able to chit chat with each other, but it's nice as well when you get people at the booth that just want to hang out with you and chit chat. And we're both fortunate enough that at the expo, the real life expo, We both have a lot of people hanging with us at our booths and chit-chatting. There's barely a 5-minute span that goes by where we're not engaged in some sort of discussion.
Totally agree. Yeah.
So the fact that people could actually come to the booth at the virtual today, come on screen, it was, I don't want to say it replicates the actual expo because it's still not the same, but it's pretty darn close. And, I'm super glad we have it as something to fill in the gap of being able to go to the actual expo.
For sure. And you know how you said people come and they help sometimes in the background? So I had people in the background saying, hey, someone's asking you a question. I'm like, oh, okay. Or, someone on screen saying, I'll take care of the talking. You go look after this person. So it felt very much expo-like, right? Obviously, minus the sausage vendor. But other than that, it was very expo-like. My feet aren't tired. My feet are tired. My feet aren't tired is my voice. Because I didn't realize when you're talking nonstop from morning to night. And we went past close.
Yeah.
And we were past close. So.
For sure. So we got people that are joining us tonight. Great viewership right now. Welcome everybody again. So let's just say hello to who we have in the crowd. I know, and I'm hoping to see a lot of you guys that we saw today at the show. Oh, I do want to just add on to what you're saying, Ameet, that in terms of, fellow hobbyists and attendees helping out at 1 or 3 o'clock Eastern today, I had to go to the main stage to help host a panel that the CSG grading company was doing. And I had to leave my booth. And Jay Jokish was nice enough to volunteer early in the day to basically hang out in my booth and make sure that when people came by, he could let them know that, he'll be back in about 45 minutes sort of thing. So I want to, special shout out to Jay for doing that. I greatly appreciated it. But I had other people, even if you have to go to the bathroom, which you have to do over an 8-hour span, it's nice when people are in the booth and are able to kind of just hang out there and let other people know who may be chatting or trying to come on that, hey, he'll be right back. So all right, let's say hello. We got Terry Wickstrom. Terry, we saw you today. Okay, one of the few times I can actually watch this show live, my favorite show on YouTube. Thank you, Terry, and welcome. Legion is here. Legion, good evening, and nice to see you today. Good evening to Facebook user. Not sure who you are, but welcome. Rondell Rosado, welcome back to you. Hope you're well rested and in good voice. The voice is, I'm just going to have to talk a little quieter than usual, but the voice is a little strained. The marathon man of the hobby, there are other marathon men out there. Amish Dave, Carlos, to name a few. Zach, welcome back. Long time no see. Yeah, had a great day. Had a great first day. Thank you so much. Rondell says, enjoyed your co-host earlier today. Your son did a great job. You can never start too young. What, Ameet, did you have your son one of your sons in the room?
Yeah, he was on my lap a couple times, both of them. Yeah.
Nice. I had my little guy in here with me at the end of the day too, because he's 1.5 or just older and was driving my wife crazy, of course. Paul, good evening to you. Dave, welcome. Amish Dave Archer, brand new view. Oh, okay. So Dave, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel as you are new to the channel, and welcome Amish Dave Archer. And I've heard that Amish Dave Archer has a channel of his own, everybody. So it's by the same name on YouTube. Please do check out Amish Dave Archer's channel as well, and welcome to you. Rich Klein, the loquacious Rich Klein. Good evening to you, Rich. And while we have Rich here, a great reminder to me to shout out another YouTube channel called Hobby Hotline, one of which where it consists of several different hosts that rotate in and out. I'm one of them, along with Rich Klein. Dr. James Beckett is one of them, Brian Gray, John Newman, Drew Herndon, Brody the Kid, among others. And I apologize to any I'm not naming, but I must say it's a lot of fun. Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern, you can catch Hobby Hotline on YouTube. Check it out. I go on and host about once a month. Co-host, I should say. Tiger Jordan, welcome to the show. You couldn't make the virtual today. Too bad, so sad. Hopefully you can make it tomorrow. So glad to be here right now, though. Best show in the biz. Thank you, Tiger Jordan. Much appreciated. Al, we got to see Al at the show today. I did a deal with Al. I have it right here. I'll maybe show it later. Jeremy and Ameet, thanks for the recap. Hope everyone is having a great evening. Thank you, Al. Next up, because I'm Carlos, the code was extra handy. I even grabbed the 3-issue deal, and I have no idea what basketball is. Oh, so Carlos took advantage of the, I didn't mention that. Yeah, if you're going to subscribe to the Basketball Card Fanatic, use the code. I forget what the code is right now. Probably just Sports Cards Live. Feel free to put in Sports Cards Live, as I said earlier. And here, I'm going to put this back up there for all you guys. If you want to subscribe, and I want to mention, this isn't just me touting this magazine. Dr. James Beckett is also an avid reader, and I just bring him up because he's obviously kind of the godfather of price guides in our hobby and publications, and he has been encouraging Adam, who's the editor, to really push this thing because it's great content. So I feel like I'm in good company on sort of helping promote the magazine. So again, there it is, $20 for 3 issues, and then if you want to re-up for the balance of 9 more months for $60. So thank you, Carlos, for that reminder. Carlos did it, and I hope you enjoy those issues. Charles, welcome. We got to see Charles today. Did a deal with Charles. Lars Furman, welcome to you. Another Facebook user. Hello to you. Lots of comments, Ameet. This might take a few minutes, so
that's fine. More the merrier.
Canadian collector. Hello, everyone. Ameet, be prepared for a small little $45 deal for Ameet tomorrow. I saw some nice stuff in your photos. There you go, Neil. Ameet, put it in the bank. Put it in the bank.
Yep, there you go.
Sam is back. Sam, you know, I told you today, I came down on Sam today. I'm like, man, I've missed you. You were a loyal viewer from the beginning, and then I guess life gets in the way. But Sam, I'm great to see you. What is happening? Not much. And there you go. Life to go. I was just happy to see you today, Sam. Just happy to see you. Dennis Lascombe, welcome. Hello. All good to catch another show. Welcome. I'm glad to have you. Jeff Zelsky, welcome back. Day one today, financial in comparison, day one to last time. For me, not as good, but still as productive. Like last time, I had several cards that were selling in the like several $1,000 range, like Gretzky rookies and that sort of thing. So I don't have those anymore. So I couldn't really quickly, pad the numbers, but it was still very good. Ameet, how was day one this time for you versus last time?
I would say easily 2.5 times last year. Easily 2.5 times last year. It was very busy, and there were a lot of nibbles, and people weren't arguing. They were like, I'll just take this, and let's figure this out. So it was good.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me earlier, and I found similar. I had people that were just, paying the price, which is always wonderful because a lot of prices aren't negotiable. But I did have several people that, said, hey, I'm interested in these cards. Will you take this? And I pretty much said no, but I said, but I'll take this. And for the most part, I think 9 out of 10 times we got the deal done today. So it was great. I had a lot of fun. I did 19 deals today, so I'm not complaining whatsoever. That was a lot. I was busy. Tiger Jordan says, shows your love for the hobby for the amount of time and effort you've put in today, and you're still rolling strong, bringing positive vibes as much. Much respect. Thanks, Tiger Jordan. I appreciate that so much. Bobby Burrell, there is no close. It's open all day, night till tomorrow. Yeah, so the expo is still open. I just don't think anyone's there. Like the vendors have all gone home, but it would be there if we wanted to be there, which is pretty cool.
I'm gonna check actually.
Go see if you can roll in. Eli, welcome, Eli. Didn't see you today. Did you see Eli today, Ameet?
I didn't, but I did text him earlier, so that's about it. I didn't see him online though.
Eli, good to see you. Welcome to the show. And I'm behind. We're already behind in these comments about 8 minutes here. Jay is an awesome dude. Jay was an awesome dude today. Much thanks. He hung out with me for a long time. Oh, this must be Jay right here. Hi, guys. Hi, Jay. Welcome. Hey, Jay. Hey, Jay. Jay, if you just got here, I was just thanking you for watching the booth for me. I really did appreciate that, brother. Really appreciate it. Jay did a great job. Thanks, Rondell. Colin Murray, welcome to the show. Latrell Spreewell is the American Dream. Hello to you. Welcome. Did you Barry Comsey? Barry wants to know, did you sell any Ziggy Palfy RCs? I certainly didn't. Ameet, how many Ziggy Palfy rookie cards did you sell today?
I didn't sell any, but I'm going to tell you an interesting thread here, Jeremy. So everybody who knows us well or knows me well, we've been seeding this Ziggy Palfy story. He showed up today in our virtual live chat. He's showing up again in yours. I think there's a theme here, and I'm just going to leech onto that. And I'm one day produce a PSA rainbow of Palfy rookies.
I'd love to see. That'll be like a big premiere event. All right. Brent Turman, welcome from the PEG. Welcome to the PEG. Welcome to the show. You may or may not know, I'm originally from the PEG myself, so always like to see more Winnipeggers come on and say hello. Paul Cashman, Jeremy is more a sprinter. I talked a lot today, so we'll see how much talking I can do tonight. Matt Chang, welcome. Did some deals with Matt Chang today. Name is in the house. Welcome, Name. Looking forward to this, guys. I'm going to make it out to the show tomorrow. Good stuff, man. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Jay and I ran the show this afternoon. Well, you guys were hanging out with me for a long time. I appreciate it. Same with you, Rod. Really enjoyed having you at the table today. Thanks so much for hanging out. Hockey, welcome to the show. Well, your Saturday is now complete. See, Ameet, you complete his Saturday. I'm just glad to have you with me. And Hockey, welcome to the show tonight again. Good to see you. Jeff McMahon says, great dealing with you today. Really enjoyed the expo. That's great to hear. I want to hear people that enjoyed the expo. I certainly enjoyed it. Steve Menzie is in the house. Steve Menzie runs the expo. He says there are still guys on the chat.
Really?
Well, Steve, I must say, I thought it was great that it was staying open. Unfortunately, we're doing this show right now, so we can't be at the expo, but I'm looking forward to maybe tomorrow going a little bit late if possible too. So welcome, Steve, to the show. Terry says, you two had by far the best presentation at the show. I was disappointed in the lack of variety available. Hockey was well represented. The other sports, not so much. And I think that's going to happen. You know, the expo is predominantly a Canadian-driven show, but Steve, this virtual did team up with Mitch from the Chicago Spectacular. And I'm just not sure how many of Mitch's dealers were willing to or did actually take the leap and maybe get out of their comfort zone and do a virtual show. But I know that several of Steve's did, and we'll get into this a little bit more.
Yep.
Brian, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you, Brian. We did a deal today. Another anonymous Facebook user. Welcome. Oh, it might be. You're welcome. Thank you to you, Jay. It's funny. I know it's Jay, but I can't see his name on there. Lars says, Ameet, thanks for the Tavares card. I love it. There you go.
No worries.
There you go. Slow Pitch Fanatic, welcome to the show. What is up with you? What is up with us? We had a long day at the expo, but we had a great time. Want to say hello to you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Matt 14K, welcome to the show. Good evening to you. Peter, did you guys hear Upper Deck is going to make Fleer Metal Showcase in 20? We did hear. The only thing is that I believe it's going to be called Skybox Metal Universe is the name of the product, is my understanding. Skybox Metal Universe coming for 2021.
Next year,
I cannot wait. And I, as Billy said in my booth today out loud, so I think I can say it. I've been sort of consulting with them for the past 6 months on this product, and I've been sworn to secrecy until today. So I've been very excited about this product because I had something I just wanted to see. So when I got to help Billy out, give some advice on that, I was very honored and privileged to do so. So if you don't like the product, partially blame me, but I know I'm going to be buying as much of it as I can. Yep. Hockey has something interesting to say. Ziggy Palfy is a great kisser.
I don't want to even know that.
But that's hey, put a smile on my face. That's pretty funny. Amish Dave, Jeremy and Ameet, did you stop by any other booths and did you see if anyone changed up the way they presented from in June, since many dealers were sour on their methods of selling? Well, Amish Dave, I can tell you that I, for real, did not have a minute to leave my booth today and go to anyone else's booth. So I did not venture out to see anybody else's. I heard a few things here and there from people that came to my booth, but I can't say that I did.
I didn't leave my booth once. I think I once went to see your chat, but then people came into mine and I had yours open on the side, and I was like, okay, I just can't do this twice. But no, I didn't leave. I didn't leave. I just stayed.
The exact same thing happened to me, Ameet. One time I clicked to go into yours and I had it open. You weren't there, but other people were. And then you came back and you went right into wheeling and dealing, and it was loud. So I had to turn it off so that I could just deal with my booth. But yeah, didn't have a chance to get out of the booth today. It was just, there were that many people around. So Facebook user again. Hi guys. Nice to see you. Hello. And nice to see you too. Anand said, who came and hung out with me today, says, had a good few minutes in Jeremy's booth, saving the best for last. See you tomorrow, Ameet. Okay, so I'm not insulted. I'm not insulted, Anand.
I'll take it.
Yeah, there's put one in the win column for you, Ameet. Me, not so much. I'm just bugging, Anand. It was great to see you. Thank you for coming out. Colin Murray. There we go. Colin Murray has a booth at the show, guys, and he's got lots of high-end baseball in the Dropbox. So there you go. He's someone who took kind of the same strategy I did and is using Dropbox. Not sure why it's not showing my name. Super odd. I'm going to just put something up there very quickly. There's the link right there to have your name shown if you are watching on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, it's not a problem. I always recommend everybody watches on YouTube. It's just a better place to watch the show. Anand says significant improvement in several of the vendors. Still many struggle with presentation of cards and merchandise for sale. Well, I like seeing those first two words. It makes me feel good about the platform and about the Virtual Sport Card Expo that we saw significant improvement, because we will continue to see significant improvement. And as people start to get their head around the fact that COVID isn't going away all too quick, and virtual shows are kind of here to stay. I think they'll have to kind of get with it, or else they'll just fall too far behind. So, Andrew Oliver, good evening to you. We both had a great fun day today, so thank you for that. Paul Cashman says, all the anonymous Facebook users. Thank you, Paul. Peter, I figured you had something to do with it. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but because we are still a few minutes behind in the comments. Josh Packham, good evening to you. Thank you for the deal we did today. Lars Furman, besides you and Ameet, only Doug had a folder of his cards and prices. Very disappointing. Other dealers didn't do the same. Yeah, and I think we need to work with Steve and the promoters of the show to kind of get a bit of a tutorial on how to best put your best foot forward at this show if you have a manageable amount of inventory. If you've got tens of thousands of cards, it's going to be tougher, I think, to be able to display them on the virtual appropriately. But if you are somebody who, like me, fills up 5 or 6 showcases at a card show, usually with maybe another 100 cards behind, you put in some time ahead of time. And I know both Ameet and I did. Ameet had me feeling pretty guilty about 3 weeks ago when he's like, I've already got this many cards priced out. I'm like, oh man, I haven't even started. But if you put in the time ahead, it's going to bear its fruit. Ameet and I are evidence of that. So hopefully more people do in the future. Paul says a few more dealers were better prepared. Hopefully they progress. I think they will. Rod wants to know what Ameet's store name is at the expo. It is 99 Goals. And I'm going to put that on right now, guy. Oh, I don't have that ready to go. But there's his Instagram handle, @Titan Hockey Stick. That's where you can follow Ameet on Instagram. Matt Chang says, if many dealers were sour, it's their own fault. You have to prepare to sell at a show, virtual or live. Doesn't matter. Preparation is key. He speaks the truth. He speaks the truth 100%. You have to prepare just like a normal card show. And I will also say, for anybody that sets up a card show, virtual or regular, price your cards and price them on the front.
Yeah.
The best way, you want to sell cards, price them and put the price. You wouldn't believe how many people will just walk by your table if they don't see price tags. So you're just shooting yourself in the foot if you think you're being sort of clever by pricing them on the back or what is it. And I understand that card prices change often, and sometimes you don't have time to price them. If you don't have time, that's fine. I mean, you're not going to have the same sales volume, but that's just the way that's just the way it is. Life gets in the way. I mean, we recognize that. Ameet, what do you want to jump in with?
I agree. I mean, I priced my cards 2 weeks ago. Things changed in 2 weeks. People still found the opportunity to look at it, compare card prices. And then in some cases, I'm like, yeah, okay, it has changed. So we have to figure out an alternative pricing. I'm not afraid to put my pricing in there because I honestly think, as more and more I think about it, the fact that people don't put their pricing on the card is a bit of an insecurity measure in my mind. If you're not confident enough to back up your facts and back up your cards, don't put a price on it. But if you're going to put a price on it, you've got to be confident with that number. So it comes down with knowing your inventory and how to work it.
Yeah. And I do have some sympathy for people that have a lot of cards and no time to prepare. And I mean, we can sit here and say, well, you've got to be able to find the time. Well, that's just us talking. We don't really know. Everyone's got whatever they got going on in their life, so it's difficult. But if you plan ahead and you start a month ahead and you put in an hour a night or an hour 4 nights a week, you're going to get a lot of progress done. And I think it'll really pay off for you if you do that. Zach Danner says, what are your thoughts on future virtual expos? I personally love it since it's not ideal for me to get to Toronto. Participated a little more in this one and did a lot more in-person hobby talk. My thoughts on future virtual expos is that they're going to continue to get better. They're going to continue to occur.
Yeah.
And the vendors are going to get better. There will be more and more vendors as time goes by, because this is the second time that Ameet and I had great shows. And here we are talking. We've got at least 87 people watching us right now. And how many of you are dealers that didn't set up at the show? And all we're doing is talking about how great it was. How can you not just want to be a part of it, So
I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think I'm at the point now where I'm totally sold on the virtual expo. Not that I wasn't before, but I'm even more sold on it. I'm totally prepared to do this and the physical one. I have no problem with it. If anything, it'll help me turn over inventory faster. Because typically there's that 6-month window between shows where you're stockpiling. This time, if things can go faster, it'll be better.
Yeah, 100%. It's we keep on getting better at it. Other people get better at it. They're not going away. I just don't think they're going away. I think Steve will tell you they're not going away. House of Cards, welcome to you. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Steve wants to let everybody know Ameet's Virtual Expo store is called 99 Goals.
Yeah.
So you can check that out. And his logo is on the YouTube thumbnail for this particular video that we are in right now. So you can always see what his graphic looks like as well. Terry Wicksham says the platform was great. The dealers will eventually learn and adapt. And I wanted to add on to what Ameet said just before that. He was really, I forget how you put it, Ameet, but this time you were very, I don't know if the word was supportive or just really excited for it versus the first time. The first time back in June, we all didn't know what it was going to be like.
But this time we did. This time we did, right? We were like veterans of the platform. So it felt comfortable. It's like driving, like wearing a glove, right? So it felt totally comfortable. A couple of minor hiccups, but that's about it.
Exactly. The first time we did it, we were pioneers in a way. Yeah. We were some among the first vendors to ever do the Virtual Expo in the Hop-In platform, and we didn't know what to expect. So we were doing it, mostly because, hey, it's something to do, and we wanted to support the expo. This time, we had the experience. We'd had a great experience the first time, and it's like, of course we're going to do it again. It wasn't even a question. It was just a matter of when, not if. Steve Menzie wants to say, worth noting, there are some pretty weak setups at the non-virtual shows too. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anand says, high-end cards very well represented. Hard to find mid to low-end cards. I visited 3/4 of the dealers. Okay, fair enough. And I think part of that comes down to the fact that you can't just put a box out or an album out and let people flip through, because that's easy to do. When it comes to the low-end cards, I found myself not really wanting to put the time in to put them out because the time to prepare them isn't going to be worth the money that they're going to sell for. I did it at the last minute last night. I put out about 30 cards and I sold a whole bunch of them that were kind of, that $5 to $20 price point, and a bunch of those sold today. So, another lesson. It depends it depends how much you value your time and what you want to spend time pricing and scanning and organizing. And if it's really, if it's just going to be worth the effort. So, and I think the more lower end you have, the more you have to do it. And then you can start selling in bulk. And that's where you can really do well with that lower end stuff.
I actually had a couple of pieces that were just mixed in. They were like dollar cards and $2 and $4 cards. And I moved quite a few of those today. It was like surprising, like Tim Hortons inserts and stuff like that. So very pleasantly surprised to see them move.
Yeah, good to hear. Yeah, I had a lot of people asking me for like Series 1 Young Guns and a couple of people Tim Hortons, and I haven't cracked any of that, so I just didn't have it, but I'm glad to hear that others did. Colin Murray says, didn't visit my booth then, prices on everything. So Colin Murray, another booth that had prices on everything. Great to hear. And yeah, I certainly didn't visit your booth, Colin. Not that I certainly didn't because I didn't want to. I just didn't get away from mine at all today. Tomorrow I'm going to try to check out other booths. Jay Jokish says, I moved around the show today. It was absolutely better than the June show. Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I want to see continuous improvement. I think that's all we can ask for. Reckless, good evening to you. Good to see Ameet on the show. Good to have Ameet on the show.
Thank you.
MKEM. So that must be someone from the company that is that Mikey?
Yeah.
Where do you guys source your pricing from? Great question, Mikey. For me, I use eBay. I go to eBay, I look at sold listings, and I kind of use that to price my cards. If there's nothing there, I'll sometimes go, if it's a PSA graded card, I'll go to the PSA website and look at their historical pricing. If I can't get it there, then I just use my head, go with my gut. That's about it. How about you, Ameet?
I do the same thing, but I use like 130 point and a couple other sold price offerings. And if it's really wild, I'll put a really stupid price on it and see if I can get a hit. I got one hit. One card sold for $25,000. I'm kidding. I'm totally
Charles, welcome. Charles says, yeah, I'm scrolling through and I've only found 2 other booths with drop boxes. And Dropbox is just one way to do it. Ameet uses Google Docs, and it worked really well. I had fun browsing through Ameet's cards a couple nights ago. So there are other ways to be organized, not just Dropbox, but Dropbox is my choice.
Yeah.
Some good deals, though. Good to hear, Charles. We did some deals, so thank you for that, Charles. Disco Slobs, baseball collecting and stuff. Welcome to the show, and glad you see a good idea there. Although we are now, Ameet, we're only 5 minutes behind the comment, so I'm not sure what that was in relation to, but thank you for the comment, Disco. Charles says, was the worst time for me. I was going to set up at local shows right before the pandemic hit. Yeah. One day I will be set up near you, Jeremy. I hope so, Charles. Charles is 13 or 14 years old, collects vintage hockey, and a great representation of the future of the hobby. So, Charles, thanks for showing up tonight and for the deals today. Terry says, I'm considering setting up the next one. I sell mainly baseball and basketball, and I think those sports were underrepresented. So there you go, Terry. And that's another thing, right? There's opportunities that people can see just by virtue of visiting today. So I hope to see you set up next time, Terry. That'd be awesome.
I'm definitely going to do more baseball next time. I did have some baseball and basketball at the end of my thing, but it's mostly hockey.
And Sean Robb has a question for Ameet. If virtual shows are expected to grow, could showcase cards over $100 see price growth relative to the $1 and $5 cards sold at bargain bins at physical shows? Before you and Ameet, I'm going to give you, because Sean is asking you, but I just want to say that's a real great question, Sean.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ameet?
Oh, that's a tough one, because that becomes a new baseline, right? Like if you're going to take that as your baseline for everything you scan, then people are more interested to get that card at that price level. But you can't replace those guys that love volume.
Yeah,
you're the guys that love volume, and they don't care what it is. They just want 100 of some card and walk away with a box. And they have that rush. I walked away with this. So I think it's twofold, but I would love to see the $100 card become the baseline. That would make everything much easier in the long run.
And, I think, Sean, I mean, first of all, when we say, virtual shows expected to grow, yes, I think they will. But we already have 24/7 virtual shows on the internet in terms of showcasing of cards, being eBay, ComC, other platforms as well, Star Stock's out there now, and there's more. I mean, that's all already out there. But in terms of at a virtual card show, if it's more convenient to sell more valuable cards, I don't know if that means the price goes up or the price goes down, because those may be the only cards available for the most, or not the only, but the majority of cards available may be like that, even 50 and up. So now you may have more supply. But I think one of the things going for the dealers at this card show or this virtual and the last virtual was there's a lot, the attendee to vendor ratio is so high that we just, there's not a lot, there's not a lot of selection as there is at a real card show. And that's because I think a lot of potential vendors just haven't taken the leap yet, but hopefully more and more will. Tiger Jordan says, I always do better at shows when I price all my inventory. What pricing strategies do you recommend for novice sellers at shows?
Oh, I would say follow the same logic. Go with the eBay and the sold listings and price it on that, and then use comparables. But also, don't be afraid to price it. Like if you feel you feel like a patch on one card is better than a patch on a plain Jane one, price it the way you think it is. Just go for it.
Yeah. I think the key strategy, Tiger Jordan, on all this is just price them. I mean, but you don't want to undersell yourself, and you don't want to overprice them, because that just nothing great comes of that. You want to find that sweet spot. And if you like to negotiate, price it a little bit higher, perhaps, so you have some room to come down if you want to. All sorts of strategies out there and do you consider, if eBay is what you're comparing to, do you want to then think about the eBay fees that you're not paying when you're selling cards this way? But there's other fees that we don't get our booths for free. So we do have seller fees built into even the card shows, and especially the real ones where the fees are much more expensive than the virtual. I won't say much more, but they are double anyway. And then if you're flying in from out of town like I do, now you've got hotel, car rental, flight. I mean, it's not cheap. Steve points out to check out All-Star Sports Cards at the Virtual Expo for a great display of commons, high volume type of cards. So do check that out, guys. All-Star Sports Cards tomorrow. Tomorrow the show opens at, I believe, 11 a.m. Eastern, and it runs until 6 p.m. Eastern, but officially, but will go later.
Yeah.
Jeff Zelsky says was very close to vending this time around. Will for sure set up next time. So there we go. One more vendor. And from what I can tell, Jeff likes good stuff and nice cards. So it should be a great booth to have. Lars says, both of you have set the bar high. Hope to see other dealers follow suit. Thank you for those, that's lofty praise, Lars. Much appreciated. But we have the benefit, Ameet and I, of having the experience of doing it last time. And the funny thing in all this, me and Ameet were laughing about this last night. It's super easy. It's super easy to do, to set up the way we set up. It's like, it's almost as simple as it gets. So I don't understand why more don't do it. But
it's very simple. Like my process, honestly, is I take a box. I got my scanner beside me. I look up all the prices. I scan them and I label the box that it falls in. It's not rocket science. Very simple. It's just time consuming, but very simple.
Yeah, exactly. Never hurts to ask a dealer what they may have that isn't pictured. That's another good point. Yeah, appreciate that one. Joe Sakic, welcome to you. Welcome, Alex. Good to see you. Amish Dave, I know tomorrow I'll have to see if I can find a couple brodeurs I don't have. Well, there you go. Go do some shopping. Matt Chang says you could show the lower end stuff live, have the boxes next to you, and take requests. All you need to do is organize by player or set, etc., to expedite things. I agree with that. That's another way to do it. If you have unpriced lower end stuff that just isn't maybe worth the time to price and scan and all that. Jim joins us. Jim has a booth at the show too, says it was a great first day as a seller. This is the best bang for your buck by far. Don't tell Steve. You just told him, Jim. You just told him. So now what? Our booth fees go up next time. Yeah. Welcome to the show, Kent, Slow Pitch Fanatic. Hey, Jeremy, whenever we are all physically back at the expo together, would you consider doing the recap show with Ameet live from the show floor? Our tables are together anyways. Well, they are, but yeah. Kent, as you know, they kick us out of there so fast. And you know how it is. We're busy doing deals right until the bell rings. So probably wouldn't do the recap show live from there because we won't be able to. Like security wise, we won't be able to. But I think we will most likely do a show from somewhere in the area midway through the expo for sure. That's going to be fun to integrate live streaming with the real expo when it comes back. And I'm not sure how I will approach it, but we'll figure something out.
We should go to the keg, man.
Stream from the keg?
Do it right from the keg. Like, honestly, that's the one thing I miss, man. I miss that. Going to the keg and just hanging and chatting and chilling. I miss that. So I
do too, man. I miss really just the rubbing shoulders with everybody at the actual show. I know we all miss that. But doing it from the keg, I mean, sounds fun, but let's face it, we wouldn't be able to hear anything and no one would be able to hear us. So we'd have to probably just do it from a hotel room, to be honest. And the hotel rooms in the area aren't all that fancy, so the backdrop won't be too nice. But anyway, Chris West says, it boggles my mind that most sellers ignored the feedback from two of the viewers' favorite booths last time. Yeah. It happens. It happens. If this is Mikey, he says, how did you find the sense of the community at this show versus the one in June? Good question, Mikey. For me, I'm going to jump in first and say it was very similar. I found last time I had a lot of people on the screen with me as well. This time it was similar. I think I had around the same numbers of eyeballs on the booth for the most part. I think I found more chatting though. More people, I believe, were utilizing the private message system, at least in my booth, to talk to me about deals and that kind of thing. So I think that went really well. Ameet, how about you? Sense of community this time versus last time?
It's kind of very similar because we know the same crew, right? So they were coming on and talking. So a lot of good hobby people. I think because everyone was familiar with the platform, the community here was even more helpful. Like they were saying, hey, people are asking you this. Hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you look here? So they were helping because they know the platform. Community-wise, I've never had a concern. I think the people are pretty cool. People are chatting. Of course, you're going to get the people that don't want to talk. Like, it's weird because I had an uptick in viewers in my booth. So it was like last time it was about 10 to 11. Now it went to like 18 to 20, right, on the average.
But Ameet, you're also the Ed McMahon of hobby online content. So of course you had more people in your booth this time.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Very true. Overall, to answer his question specifically, I thought it was very much the same.
Good. Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same place for that question there. Chris says the problem regarding online sales on eBay is the fact the market is so fragmented. Interesting comment. Thank you for that, Chris. Terry says Ameet had a link to his ComC as well as his Google pages, which allowed folks to shop for lower end cards as well as his feature cards. Smart move. Yes, very smart move. Very smart move. You could send people to ComC. If they had ComC credit on the go, they could buy cards that way as well. Matt Chang says, virtual shows makes it easier for someone like me that likes to buy in lot deals. It's tough sometimes at a live show to pull from a guy's display case like 20 plus cards to then negotiate. Easier to send a list, which we did, Matt. We did that today. So interesting point. And I, you know what I'll say, when I'm at the live show and I've got, 5 or 6 people at the booth kind of waiting to talk to me about cards in my showcases, and I got one guy who wants several cards, while I want to deal with that one person to sell them all the cards, I also don't want to lose the other kind of fishes I have on hook. So I'll put it that way, where I don't want them to break loose and go away and forget to come back. So it's tough to balance in the online space. It's almost like, well, you can go away and come back because they're not moving. They're not going to forget where you're located. You're just located a few back clicks away type of thing. Let's see what else we got here. That Mikey says he'll be vending at the next show. Well, as long as we don't need to, as long as you're not running it from the back end, Mikey, then that'll be great to have you vending for sure. Chris West says, let's see. It's also being able to have 10 to 20 people looking at your booth at the same time. Plus, with private chats, you can have 5 to 10 potential deals going at once in private without nosy Nancy's listening in. And that's a good point. Yeah. It does give you the opportunity to deal one-on-one quietly while you're still talking to the people that are at your booth. And I found it mildly challenging to juggle that today when I had like 3 private discussions going on and people in the booth. And meanwhile, at the same time, I'm trying to welcome people to the booth and let them know where to find the cards. How did that work out for you, Ameet?
Same deal. It's very difficult. And also the one thing I will add, when you're doing a private chat, you're moving away from your booth. So you can't even talk to anyone in your booth. So there was a point, and I told you this earlier, I had someone on Instagram, I had someone on Facebook, someone on Hobby Insider. I had people talking to me, and it's like, whoa, like I just can't handle all of you at the same time. One thing I will find funny, because even at the Real Expo, how we have our booth set up, it's almost like the corner area where we walk into our booth from behind. That's where we do the, hey, come chat on this side.
Right.
You can't do that here because you can talk, but you can still watch, right? The advantage with the virtual is you got to make sure there's no sticky fingers, right? And you don't have to worry about that with virtual. It's like, okay, I'll be back, right? Whereas at the real show, you put a box out and that box has got like 20K worth of stuff. You're not going to just walk away from it.
Yeah, great point. And when you say, when you would do a private chat with somebody that you'd have to leave your booth, that was if you were doing a private video chat, but you could still do private messaging in your private chat room with any of the attendees you wanted to, as many as you could handle at a time, and still keep your eyes on your booth. I'm going to take a quick second. We got lots more viewers here. So if any of you are new to the show, I just want to welcome everybody to Sports Cards Live. This is episode number 63. Meaning we got 62 episodes in the archives, along with 11 or 12 after hours episodes as well, all in the archives on the YouTube channel. Check them out. I've had great guests on the show from episode 1 through, well, 1 was just me. So episode 2 through 63, and the after hours shows have been awesome. Great guests all the way through. Please do check them out. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. And I'm going to also shout out the other YouTube channel that I'm involved with is called Hobby Hotline, which is an awesome Saturday morning live show at 11 o'clock Eastern. Simply Hobby Hotline. Go check that one out. Subscribe to that channel as well. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Dr. James Beckett co-hosts on there, as does Brian Gray, myself, Rich Klein, among many others. So check that out. Michael Jansen says the Dropbox links were a great way to view cards. Ameet's long list of scans on Google Docs was great. It felt like you were viewing a regular booth table. I believe most attendees appreciate this. And Michael, the feedback I heard today from many attendees was, they loved Ameet's booth, my booth, a couple other booths. And I will say I did Dropbox, but I really enjoyed scanning Ameet's Google Docs a couple days ago when he had posted it elsewhere, and I was able to kind of go through and it was a lot of fun. It felt like exactly like Michael says. It felt like you were just scanning booths at the scanning showcases at a card show. So good stuff. Thanks for the comment, Michael. Luke says, hey, everyone just tuning in now. How was the show today? And any good football dealers? So again, Ameet and I didn't venture out of our booths too much to see if there were any football dealers. So I'll leave that to the chat crowd here today to answer that for you, Luke. And I hope you get some feedback on that. Rich Klein says, Joe Daly. Yes, I'm going to throw up right now, guys. Upcoming episodes. We got Tracy Hackler coming up on Wednesday. Next Saturday, Ken Reed of Sportsnet will be joining me. December 2nd is Brian Gray from Leaf. And then December 5th is Joe Daly. Joe Daly played goal in the NHL for the Detroit Red Wings, Pittsburgh Penguins. He played for the Winnipeg Jets in the WHA. Maybe another team in there too. He owns a card shop in Winnipeg. A great all-around guy. I cannot wait. He's one of my original LCSs from the 80s. I cannot wait to have Joe on with me. So, Rich, thank you for pointing that out. If you recall, he still holds some WHA goalie records has been in the hobby for 30 plus years. He's had a store since the mid 80s at least. So almost 35 years. Wow. Rich says we did live streaming the Dallas Card Show last week. That's right, Rich. They did some live streaming the Dallas Card Show on the Hobby Hotline episode last Saturday. And I watched it, and it was actually pretty cool to see live streaming from a card show, even though everyone was masked up, and as they should be. So that was great to see. Steve Menzie says, you touched on this, but so far, cost to a dealer for virtual is less than 50% of those at in-person shows. Yeah, it's less than half of the price of a real show for the booth. Very true. So it's cheap. It's basically like cheap enough that you're gonna, if you organize, you're gonna recover your costs at least, of course, and then some if you are organized. Yeah. Tiger Jordan says, what were the fees cost for setting up the virtual expo? I will let Steve answer that in the chat below. Rich Klein says, if you were unfortunate enough to walk by my table and I knew you ended up live on Hobby Hotline. Yes, that did happen. So that's how we'll have to integrate live streaming at the next physical expo, is by actually somehow streaming during the show versus after. And I will plan to do something like that from the next expo and the national and the summit and the Western Canadian show in Vancouver and all that sort of thing. Colin had keg last night. Good, Colin. Good to hear. Andrew Oliver says camera etiquette is key. One dealer had an unattended camera focused on product and had a hot mic in store. I went in twice, and both times heard stuff that surely would make them blush if they knew the mic was on. Yeah, interesting. I think that's part of the etiquette is actually really important. What is in your camera's kind of frame, and what can your microphone pick up that you may or may not want the viewers to hear. That's a great point, Andrew. Rich says, we use the keg down here for all of our birthday and anniversary dinners. They have a great deal of birthday month. Wonderful, Rich. Wonderful. Rich is down in Dallas, Texas. Chris West says, one complaint is the platform doesn't have a push-to-talk feature for microphones. Yeah,
so you don't have to go on your camera. You can just talk.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I had people in my booth that were on just with audio, but no video. So that was working.
They may have blocked the video, though, right? I think.
Well, they were blocking the video. Yeah, they just didn't turn on their camera, but they were still kind of in the booth with me and chatting. And some of them just didn't have their video wasn't working. So it was still great to have them. Eric Westrom wants to say the world famous Ameet. Yeah, the Ed McMahon of online hobby content. Roy G. Aloha all. I'm glad I get to finally attend a big card show. Not a lot come to Hawaii. Well, Roy, first of all, welcome to Sports Cards Live all the way from Hawaii, although I do think I've seen you before. And it's great to have people from Hawaii and anywhere globally at the expo today. So glad you made it, man. Glad you made it for sure. Gareth says, I didn't get to see all your interview with the CGS guys, but from what I did see and talking with them after, I'm very excited to see them enter the grading market. Yeah, Gareth. So I did spend about 45 minutes this afternoon on the main stage interviewing the two graders from CSG Grading that is entering the market soon. They showed their new slab, which I got to say looks pretty sharp. I was very impressed. And the plastic they are using is apparently the clearest plastic that the planet provides. So that was pretty cool. I am a merman. All right, Disco. Love it. Jay-Z in the house. Good evening to you, my man. We didn't see you at the expo today. Hope you better make it there tomorrow, Jay-Z. Make it tomorrow. Come say hello. Legion wants to remind everybody to hit that thumbs up on the video. Thank you, Legion. I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, hit thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Please do. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Much appreciated. There is football tomorrow at the show at Colin's booth. Ameet, you're looking good, buddy. You're looking good.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks, Jay-Z. Chris says a lot of dealers link to eBay stores for their websites. Football questions. If you search eBay, you've seen what they have if you potentially want it. Okay. Rich Charles says, Jeremy, I was in your booth and couldn't help but notice I missed some things. I will be doing some serious negotiations tomorrow. Sounds good, Charles. We'll see you back tomorrow. Terry says, the Dropbox strategy made it easier to zero in on specific types of cards you wanted. Google Sheets felt more like looking in display cases. Advantages to both setups. And exactly, I think it's good to have both out there. What else? Amish Dave says, don't catch Carlos and I walking past your booth when you're streaming live. You'll be there for hours. Yes, that's where you can get some real marathons, is on the Amish Dave Archer channel and the Because I'm Carlos YouTube channel.
So I want to give a quick shout out to Carlos and to Amish Dave Archer for joining me live on stage. It was a blast. We covered some amazing topics today, and you guys kept me entertained, and you did it with your own time, and you weren't buying cards. You're just hanging out for your own goodwill. And I got a lot of comments from the crowd after the fact that somehow knew me on Facebook and various groups, but they found it entertaining. They loved it. So plug to the 3 channels on YouTube.
Awesome. Thanks for those shout outs, Ameet. And I'm hoping to see Amish Dave and Carlos drop by my booth tomorrow and come on screen and say hello, even if just for a couple seconds, fellas, even if just for a couple seconds. It'd be great to see you. Mikey lets everybody know that you can turn off your camera at the show tomorrow if you do want to come on stage or on the screen with some of us dealers and just have your voice heard. You can do that. Steve lets everybody know booth fees range from $299 to $749, depending on extras, which included the new mobile app this time. So check out the mobile app as well in the App Store. It's just simply called Sport Card Expo. Okay, check out All-Star. It's got lots of cards. Great. Check out All-Star Sports Cards. They got lots of cards there. Thank you, Paul. ComC Barry says a ComC customer from New Zealand was at our booth. That's really awesome. The other end of the world. Great to see the international flavor and attendance at the show. Adam, good to see you, Adam. Welcome. What's going on with you? All-Time Greats blog wants to let me know he smashed that like button. Thank you, All-Time Greats blog. Much appreciated. Jeffrey, sorry I failed you in the ComC challenge for Sports Cards Live. Us Canadians lack knowledge in the NBA and baseball category. No worries, Jeff. No worries. I'm glad you got to take part. Hope you had some fun for sure. Mikey says the ComC booth was all kind of heat, setting a new standard of virtual engagement and creating atmosphere. That's great to hear. Great to hear the ComC guys really stepping it up. I had no doubt they would. We had Barry, ComC Barry, here on Sports Cards Live on Wednesday. We did a bit of an expo preview, and we got to talk a bit about what they were going to do. So I was certainly happy to have Barry on the show, and really glad to hear that they had a great booth this time. Gareth says, yeah, that slab looks really nice. I like this. Speaking about the CSG slab, it looks really nice. I'd like them to add the card serial number to the front of the flip and not the back if it'd be possible. Also would like to drop off service since I live so close. Well, maybe these things will come. I think right now is the best time to communicate any desires, wishes, advice that you have for CSG, because they are still in kind of ramp up mode. So I think now's the time when they might be flexible on things. So send them a message. Let them know what you think. I think that's valuable stuff, Gareth. Legion says some of those ComC challenge cards were tough. Japanese magic cards, intense, I'm sure. Here's my man, Darcy Ravlik in the house. Darce, welcome to the show. Can we get down to seeing some cool cards? Any awesome buys or sells today, guys? I got all the cards I sold are here, ready to kind of let people know what kind of cards we're selling. We're going to get there in a couple minutes, Darce. We will get there, and thank you for encouraging me and us to get there. Steve says, Barry, the ComC booth was top 3 busiest of all today. Great to hear. Terry Fortune was at the show today. Hi, guys. Just got in from hockey, but we'll catch up later. Thanks, Terry. Good to see you, and thanks for the deal today. Amish Dave will definitely stop by. I'm sure if I'm there, Carlos will be there for a while. We seem to work well together. And Ameet. Awesome. Thank you, Amish Dave. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Both of you. Yes, Darce, we will show some cards. Okay, for the first time, Ameet, we're at the bottom of the comments.
Wow. So, 54 minutes.
Wow, that was a marathon itself to get to the bottom of the comment. But I want to thank everybody who's watching for interacting with us. It's what makes this show so much fun to do. And it's really just awesome to get all these different perspectives. We do have more in. Ryan O'Hara welcome, buddy. We've done deals. We'll swing by your booth tomorrow. Missed the show. Found a card I need. Awesome. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Rich Klein says, one advantage of a real live show is walk-ins or walk-arounds. 100%. 100%. There's so many people in the hobby that I'm sure if they knew about the show, or I saw someone in a private Instagram chat today say, what's this expo, this virtual expo all about? It's like, go to the website, just Google. I wonder what, if people seem to forget they have Google a lot of the time. Just check out the website. A lot of information there. The show hours are right at the top there now. It's awesome. You can see exactly what's going on. So, and it's even like a demo. It kind of shows you what it looks like. So really helpful. Tell me about basketball at the show. Darcy, neither Ameet nor I can do that because we did not get to venture outside of our booths today, but hopefully other people in the comments can share that with you that did manage to wander around the show. Rich Klein wants to know, is there any chance for collectors to bring their cards to buy, sell? Yeah, there is. I had people showing me cards today and offering them to trade or to sell them to me. Yes, there is. But I think because it's so busy and the show was very busy, it's tough to look at cards because you might have 5 people trying to buy from you. So how do you want to juggle your time? How do you want to allocate your time is really what it comes down to. I'd almost recommend having a partner, having maybe one person sell for you and then you go out and buy, or one person manning the booth while you're doing private chats. Something like that might be a strategy if the platform allows for it. All right, Ameet, do you want to get into some deals that we did today?
Yeah, so I don't have any pulled because most of them are packed, but I'll go through some of the lists I had. So a couple of really big deals involve Steve Yzerman cards, so a lot of autograph memorabilia type cards. Sold my sales are all over. There isn't a theme. It's like whatever people saw and they wanted to buy, just buy. Like Lemieux Cup base cards, a Wayne Gretzky Cup base card. I sold a Tavares SB Game Use patch. That's just to name a few. It was all over the place. It's a pretty insane. I guess no one theme for it.
And that speaks to the fact that when you go to a show, I always struggle with this, especially when I'm traveling to a show and I got to go on the airplane and I only have room for so many cards. It's like, which ones do you not bring? And, inevitably the ones you didn't bring, you might have sold to the show. And then you come home with 80% of what you took. Yeah. It's like, how do you know? And the fact of the matter is you just can't know. You can't know what you're going to sell. So you have to bring a mix and then you're going to sell a mix. I don't have my cards that I sold packaged up yet, but I'll show a few. I sold to a Calgary Flames fan, bought these 4 cards from me. We have a Theo Fleury, PSA 10 O-Pee-Chee rookie. He also bought 3 Sam Bennett cards, all really nice scripted swatches. Sorry, this is an ice auto patch. Really nice card. Another ice card. And scripted swatches from the cup. So that was a cool sale. Staying local here. Another local. Good collector. You all know him on Instagram as Al G. These were sold. These were Jay Jokish. Purchased these. Al G picked up a really nice Sean Monahan Cup Gold rookie autograph out of 25. Managed to sell a one-off Nathan McKinnon Young Gun without the pink shoulder. So that's a great card. I said to Rod when he bought this from me, I'm going to regret selling it. 1974 Bobby Orr PSA 8. Just a beautiful card. That's the kind of card you regret selling. Sold a PGS 8.5 Stanley Cup hologram today. Really nice card. You don't see many of those. Here's some, I think these went to Terry, a Paul Coffey rookie, a Ron Francis, and a Mike Gartner. Here's the other card I'm going to really regret selling today, a Grant Fuhr and a PSA 10. Oh, I don't have a backup, so I'm going to miss that one.
Oh, I've got 2 or 3 of those. I love that card.
Me too. Sold a 1966 Jean Beliveau. That's in a PSA 7 holder. Nice card there. I'll do a couple more, then I'll let you jump back in, Ameet. A couple of Toronto Maple Leafs cards, a Morgan Riley Showcase rookie, and an Austin Matthews Fleer Ultra rookie. Really, actually, I think this Fleer Ultra from this year and the 15 year is way under the radar. These are numbered out of $599. You compare that to a Young Gun, which is like, we don't know what the print run is on Young Guns, but it's way more than $599. It's probably more than 10 times that. And this card sells for a quarter of what a Young Guns does. So I mean, I don't give a lot of investment advice on this show, but that's an undervalued card right there. And if Billy is watching, it speaks more to how Fleer is currently undervalued in the hockey market and it's primed to move. And with the announcement of the Skybox Metal Universe, which is kind of called Skybox, but has a lot of Fleer lineage, you're going to see that Fleer is going to come back in hockey. I sincerely believe. My buddy Charles, the youngster, bought an Igor Larionov OPC PSA 10. Picked up a really nice Dale Hawerchuk Bowman Tiffany PSA 10. I think it's a pop 1 or 2. And then three raw Dale Hawerchuk rookies. Those are going to Charles. That's it for round 1 for me. I've got more cards that move, but there's a touch on them. A couple of comments, Ameet, and then we'll go back to you. Thomas Newman threw a tip my way, $1. Thank you, Thomas Newman, very much appreciated. Thank you. Paul Cashman, try 20 times. I forget what that's in reference to right now. But I'm sure I would know. Oh, 20 times the amount of Young Guns than the Fleer Ultra.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's someone liking the Fleer Ultra rookies for sure. Paul Cashman says that McDavid Young Guns has 12,000-ish copies graded by PSA and BGS. Yeah, that's a lot of copies. 12,000 graded alone, where this card is only 600. I mean, I'm going to say this, and maybe the prices go up, but I'd like to go grab a few of those, even though I just sold one. Jeff McMahon says Coffee, Francis, and Gartner to me, hopefully. Oh, was that to you, Jeff? I'm sorry. That's to you. I'm sure. I got to check this now. Jeff McMahon. I'm looking at my records here. Yes, Jeff, those are to you. Sorry. Too funny. Oh, Terry jumps in. Here's what Terry bought. There we go. See those vintage 80s rookies and cards are what I got mixed up. Rod Jameson says 40X if it's 15-16 or 16-17. Could be. So good value. Trilogy is another one that, Trilogy's not my favorite aesthetically. I love the aesthetics of this card. Trilogy, I don't love the aesthetics of, but Trilogy rookies are numbered super light compared to what, the Young Guns sells for, or the Young Guns is printed to. So there's opportunities. There's lots of opportunities. If you're sort of savvy and you know what to look for, there's always opportunities. A lot of people, I think, right now have seen the hobby escalate so much, so fast in the last 6 to 8 months that they're starting to think that there's no more opportunities. But trust me when I say there are. You just have to kind of look for them. There are still opportunities to get things at prices that I think have room to grow. Not necessarily because the player is going to blow up or win championships or MVPs, but more because the card is currently undervalued. Those are my thoughts. Who is this? Somebody wants to negotiate with me on my BGS 8 Stanley Cup hologram. Yeah, we're not going to get into a negotiation right now, but come see me tomorrow at the show. I will be there tomorrow at the show. And to anyone who's just joined us tonight on Sports Cards Live, episode number 63, welcome. And please, if you have not yet, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up, and check out the backlog of episodes, 63 episodes of amazing guests and after-hour shows, which are much more relaxing and laid back, fun too. But check them out. Please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. It helps the YouTube channel. How, I'm not exactly sure, but I hear it does.
It's funny because you have all it just speaks like I try to pack up all my cards, so I don't have anything kicking around kind of thing because a lot of it's packed up. But I'll do a different one. I'll kind of show things on my PCs just to kind of show the motif. So if you want, Jeremy, I'll do a couple now, and then you can go back to you.
Yeah, you do it. I'm going to pull over the next round. I'll show.
So I picked up Billy Ripken error card. I'm a fan of these. I'm trying to get all the variations, so I picked up this one. I'm pretty happy with that. I love this card.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, I collect this set in PSA 10, so I'm trying to collect the whole set. This is a 10, so yeah, I'm trying to make sure I get that entire set done. A card from my youth that I got rid of, that I regret, and got it back is Mattingly OPC rookie, so I had to go get that back in an 8.
It's a nice card.
A couple other ones I had to get. I showed this on Instagram. Ken Seiko rookie. I got that. And a couple that I'm really proud of, I own because this is my youth growing up. So Barry Sanders and Troy Aikman, both rookie cards, both are 10, PSA 10. So I got a lot of stuff here that I've been keeping and just kind of picking and trading up on. And did somebody keep mentioning basketball? I hope that guy does really well next year. Trey Young.
Trey.
Yeah. So that's a PSA 10. I got a couple of some baseball guys that are there. This is not the Desert Storm version. I wish it was, but Chipper Jones. So that's a sneak peek of my PC. Anyway, back to you, Jeremy.
Okay, man. Okay. We're going to get to a few comments here. Rich Klein just signed up for tomorrow. We'll try to drop by Ameet. Awesome, Rich. I hope to see you too tomorrow. I'm sure I will. Carlos says, never question the wisdom of the YouTube algorithm. Likes and comments for all. Thank you, Carlos. And I've mentioned it before. I'll mention it again, guys. Check out, because I'm Carlos's channel, you can see more of Ameet on there. You can even see a little bit more of me on there. Not that you don't get enough of me as it is on this channel, I know, but there's more on Carlos's channel as well. Eric Westrom loves the classic Billy Ripken cards. I used to own that card in the PSA 10 too, and I sold it. I think I sold it to Brian Gray a few years ago when I was unloading a few cards. Collection SML says, did you feel any Lafreniere hype at the show today? I didn't, but people asked me if I had any of the new Young Guns, and I just don't. I haven't opened any of the product yet, so I had to say no. So the answer is no. I didn't hear anyone really talking about Lafreniere today. There were a couple conversations just around the bounties for his high gloss that came up, but that was just more casual discussion, really. Look at this. Amish, where'd it go? Amish Dave just hit the buy it now on a Matthews Ultra rookie on eBay. There we go. I just sold someone a card.
There you go.
Sold the card for someone and got to help Amish pick out a new card. That's cool, man. I think it's undervalued, so I think that's a smart buy. If I had time right now, I'd probably go surf eBay myself. Eric Westrom, cool cards Ameet, like the vintage stuff. Chipper, please leave all the graded 90s hockey for me. Right on, Charles. I like your hustle, buddy. I like your hustle. So a few more deals that I did today. I think this was the first card I sold of the day. Let me just confirm that here. Yes, the first card I sold today was an 0506 Cup Base Gold out of 25 of Mario Lemieux. Super rare, super awesome card. These are the cards that Terry bought. Terry, there's your cards. The Gretzky third year, the Chelios rookie, the Scott Stevens, and Aaron Francis. Cards I put up at sort of the last minute last night. Then I did this deal. Who did this go to? Oh boy, am I going to? Yeah, this deal was with John. He picked up a Henrik Sedin autograph from Top Shelf. He also picked up a Doug Gilmour National Treasures numbers patch out of 9, which was a triplet for me. Kovalchuk rookie review. He picked up a Larry Robinson rookie review, and he picked up this Stan Mikita from 0607 Cup signature patches, which brings me to another deal I did with this was with Andrew Pick. A lot of you might know Andrew Pick. He's got a Facebook group. He bought the 3 Maple Leafs from that set and a duo of Howard Chuck and Peter Stastny dual Cup auto. These are all 060. This is 0708 Cup, and these 3 are 0607. And then staying on the theme of these cards, because I was working on this set at one time, and he told me today it's like 95 cards. That's a lot of cards for an auto patch set. And I was working on, I got up to, 30 or 40, and then I just threw in the towel, kept the Gretzky and the Gordie Howe for myself, decided to sell the rest. And one gentleman came by the booth today and cleaned me out of the last 17 that I had. So Patrick Waugh got sold, Milan Hayduk, Martin St. Louis, Marty Turco, just to show you guys the awesome patches. Phil Kessel rookie year, Joe Thornton, beautiful 3-color patch. And again, pre the big beard. Beard. We got a Lanny McDonald he picked up. I had the Radulov, Raymond Bork, nice Ray Bork, 3-color, beautiful autograph. And the nice thing is that these cards are almost 15 years old already, and the autographs are all still, every single one. Like, look at Tony Esposito, just bold, beautiful autographs. The Cavalier, beautiful patch. I was picky with this set. I wanted nice patches. Nice Al McInnes with a cool autograph. Picked up the Ilya Kovalchuk. Beautiful Zetterberg. Patrick O'Sullivan with the beautiful patch. This guy's got a story to him. Oh my gosh. You want to what's that blog that a bunch of athletes write for? Can you think of it, Ameet?
Oh, the Jeter one? It's the I'll go look it up.
Someone, Chris West will know. There's a name of a blog out there that a lot of athletes write long stories about their lives, and Patrick O'Sullivan's it's quite the tearjerker. Dale Howardchuk was the other one, and the last one, Eric Stahl. So those 17 cards, and actually that's the end of it. Those are all the cards that I moved today. So it was like 60 cards altogether or so, and pretty good. I'm going to quickly show a card I bought yesterday at Eastridge. Anybody remember these first rounders? I know somebody will, but this is Steve Yzerman that walked into his store, and I happened to be there a few days ago when this card walked into the store, and I said to him, "Hey, if you get that, I want it. I love that card." So just sharing this with the crowd out of 30 from 2002-3, one of the first, a relatively early patch. Love that. And then he had Gilbert Pro as well for my Cup Gold patch parallel set. Happy to add those to the personal collection. Going to get back to some comments here while you're texting, Ameet.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for cards to show, actually.
I'm just kidding. I know. I'm just messing. What else do we have? Sorry, guys. Just going to see where we left. Oh, the Player's Journal. Of course, Chris West knows what we're talking about. Luke says, nice. I'm digging the cup-based parallels. Yeah, man. I love cup-based parallels. I love the patches. The ones out of 10 are now they're out of 8. Got like almost 300 of those in my collection from all years. Chris West, I almost bid on that jumbo earlier, Jeremy. Oh, did you? It's gone now, buddy. Sorry. Rich Klein confirms Player Tribune. So does Jim Mazzella, confirms it's the Players Tribune. Andrew Oliver, The Athletic. There's another one, the Players Journal. Thank you, guys. Everybody jumped in. Thank you, everybody, for that. Chris West, those first rounders cards are sick. Someone on HI did the set. That's cool. It was probably, what's his name? John Z probably did it. For sure it was him. He does all the best patch sets.
I think next time I'm going to pull all the cards I sell, put it aside. So when we do our recap show, I'll actually have them. I just get too excited to pack them up and get them out of the way. I get it, man. Get that work done, right? Because it's a hassle to package up. Yeah. So I want to shout out a few of the people that came by the booth today, because I just really appreciated it. Anyone that came by the booth, came on the screen, hung out with me. When you see you've got 15, 20, 30 people watching your booth and you're in there alone, it's, I can handle it. No problem. Like, I'm used to talking to 100 people with no one talking back to me except for the guests. It's okay for me to do it. But during the card show, we don't really have a program. And a lot of the vendors, I don't think they do either. So I want to encourage everybody, when you're at the Virtual Expo, ask to share your video and your audio, or just your audio, whatever you want. Ask to go on the screen with the vendors, because trust me when I say we really appreciate it. It makes the experience that much better. And I think it's good for you. I think it's good for the guests to do it too, because it's just part of building the community and the relationships in this hobby. And if you watch this show at all, you know that I'm all about the community. I love the people, and I love building relationships, making the friends. And that's a great way to do it. It's networking. And no matter how old you are, no matter where you come from, networking in life is super. I just think it's valuable. It's an important skill to have. And you can kind of, get started at a card show. Card shows are great places to develop social skills, negotiation skills, all that kind of stuff. So check it out for sure. Check it out. Get on screen. Come join. I'm going to shout out the following people, and I hope I didn't forget anybody. I'm sure I forgot one or two, and I'm going to feel bad, but I'm going to shout out Jay Jokish for coming in early and sitting with me a long time and watching the booth for me. I had Card Killer in my booth today. If you guys don't know who Card Killer is, check out the Instagram account at Card Killer with K's, KARDKILLER. Interesting fellow, does some cool artwork. Really neat. Check him out. Brian Roy, Ananda Rinke, Corey Bart, all people that came on the screen and hung out with me. I want to shout out Bobby Burrell, Rod Jameson, Sam Genova, Charles Hind, John Manzanis, Jordan S. from Winnipeg, Zach Danner, Jim Francis, Barry Ma, Dave Kaplan.
Even Steve Menzie came on screen at the end with me for a while. I might have had Ameet. I want to thank all those guys for coming on. And then I want to shout out my hater, Jeff Pekarski, who came on and hated on me during the show for a little bit today. So that was interesting to learn that you have a hater and that they want to come on your show live and basically insult you. So that was fun. Ameet, how about you? Any more shout outs from your end?
So mostly the Carlos and Amish Dave. I mean, there's a couple other people that came. Steve Menzie came at the end. I'm forgetting people who came on earlier, but I got to give a big shout out to Chris West, who hung out in the chat room.
Oh, yeah.
Chris West. So there's a lot of people hanging in the chat room. So Chris West, there was Josh Peckham. There's a couple other people. I'm sure I'm forgetting the name, but they're just in the chat room hanging out and just and helping me, right? So I much appreciate. They did the last show and again this show, so I really appreciate it.
I got to shout out Kevin Doty as well. I'm going to write that down. He was in and out a couple of times. It's tough to remember all these and take notes and have all the conversations. So I do genuinely feel bad if I forgot to shout out anybody, because it did mean a lot to me that everybody did come on, hung out, even people that just dropped by the booth and did private chats. It was just nice to hear from people that you don't get to hear from all the time. So that was pretty awesome. Couple more comments have come in here. Luke says, I just recently picked up a Saku Koivu and Michael Ryder Cup Patch Auto from 0506. I wish Saku still signed. Saku Koivu, I believe, is one of the most underrated players. And in terms of hobby love, the guy was a stud. I mean, he was the captain of the Montreal Canadiens for several years, a leader. Got sick with cancer, came back. Like, the guy's got a story and nobody talks about him. You don't hear anything about him. Maybe Upper Deck should work on getting him back. I think that would be awesome. Canner Collect says, hi from Michigan. Keep the wing stuff coming. Thank you, Canner. Good to see you. Jordan, thanks so much, buddy. It was great to see you today. Terry, someone came in your booth to insult you? Unreal. I know. It happened. It happened. Caught me off guard too, but I quickly reported him, and there was a feature you could say, why are you reporting the person? And I said hate, because the guy was hating on me. So anyway, guess it's going to happen. Gareth says, I have a 2001 Fleer Greats Cam Neely and a PSA 10 Pop 1. Is it a common? It's a common card, but the fact is a Pop 1 does it have a decent value? It's going to come down to how many people want it. I'm going to say no, it doesn't have a decent value, even though it's a Pop 1 and a PSA 10. Ralphie showed up at my booth too. Thank you, Sam. Ralphie showed up there. That's right. But back to the Cam Neely. No, that's not going to have any value. I don't believe if it's a common card that somebody decided to get graded sometime. I don't think you're going to see much value there, actually. Steve Menzie says, we kicked 2 guys out today. Hope he was one of them. You know what? You might have, but he came back a few times, but I muted him so he couldn't say anything. But he came back into the booth, and I could see him come in. And I say, oh, it's my hater again. Well, welcome back, Jeff Pekarski. Welcome back. I mean, what you going to do? What you going to do? Part of the game, I guess. So
I kind of miss a good old booting from the expo. You get the 1 or 2 show, right? Remember the physical one? Like, oh, there's the cop. There's Steve. Or no, back in the day, Al. Al would be yelling at the guy as the cop was dragging him out.
And that's one of the differences between, it was mentioned earlier in the show, but between the virtual and the actual is that at the virtual, there's no risk of theft. Yeah. And at the actual expo, unfortunately, it's possible. And that's why it's so important to cover your cards. Some people, I don't say a lot, but many people have their cards just out on their booth. And I've heard stories about people losing stacks of cards to theft. And that's not cool. One of the benefits of the virtual is that that's pretty much impossible for people to come steal your cards. They can't reach into their monitor and pull cards out of your house or wherever it is you are. What else we got to meet? I mean, we didn't really plan much of an agenda for the show because we knew we were going to talk about the show itself. I think we've covered quite a bit of it.
I think we covered a good chunk of a lot of stuff we wanted to talk about. I mean, we covered the haters. That was interesting. First for everything.
For sure.
I would just say that it felt good overall. I felt comfortable. It felt at home. I'm in my home, but felt at home in the platform. I think Steve's doing a good service to the hobby industry by having this. I think I'm going to do more basketball. Like I'm going to tell everyone who's been out there and looking at my Google folders, I'm going to keep it going. I'm not going to just do it for the virtual. I'm just going to keep it alive and keep scanning more stuff in there. And I'm going to start putting in the football and the baseball that I do have in there. So look forward to seeing that in the next. Well, I'll take a break for a month and then I'll come back to it.
That's a good plan. I mean, that's another reason why so many more people should do this, because it forces you to get organized, and then you can stay organized afterwards. And then when the next virtual expo comes, all you really have to do is reprice your cards. Some of them, maybe not all of them. And I didn't put price tags on my cards, which was a calculated move because I had the price tags in the file name of the cards. And I am saying price your cards. They were priced, but I didn't put price tags on the front of them that I may have to remove in the future. So when I do get back to a physical card show, I'm going to have to go through the exercise of putting price tags on the cards again. But the way things are going, I don't see that happening till May at the earliest, if that.
May will be the earliest, I think. At the rate of things going, May easily. So we'll probably have at least one more virtual hint, Steve. Hint.
Hopefully we do. Here's a great question from Chris West. So any surprising sales? For me, Chris, it was the fact that I sold every single one of these cards that I had in my possession. So, except, that I wanted to sell. I kept my Gretzky and my Mario Lemieux, or my Gretzky and my Gordie Howe, but I sold 17, 18, 19, 20. I sold 21 cards from this set today. So that was just cool.
My most surprising deal is someone wanted my Jonathan Bernier Ice Auto. That was my most surprising sale, and that was a whopping $8.
Yeah. Sam says, I'm still waiting for my hat, but I'll settle for a t-shirt. By hat, I think you might be referencing one of these beautiful Sports Cards Live hats, which I'll show everybody are awesome. They are trucker hats, but they are stitched right in. These are awesome. I love it.
What we should do to get a Steve Mendy can pay for some advertising and put a sports card like side logo on your hat.
The Expo. Put the Expo right there.
And then Steve's kicking a few bucks. What is that tip? Someone did a tip earlier. I didn't know you could do that.
It's like a super post on Facebook. Yeah. What does Steve say? Sorry, right here. Steve says the main stage guest sessions rocked. Bobby Hall, Andre Dawson, Emmett Smith, Mike Bossy, and they're all on the Sports Cards and Memorabilia Expo Facebook page. So I think what Steve is saying there, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys recorded all the main stage sessions and now you've put them out on your Facebook page, which is awesome. Emmett Smith, like that guy's a big draw. He's working with Collectible, one of these fractional ownership companies, and the CEO of Collectible, Ezra Levine, was on Sports Cards Live about a month ago. You can go back and check that out if you want to learn all about fractional ownership. But I think that Steve's not wrong. The main stage guest lineup did rock. I mean, Bobby Hall's a mainstay at these things. Andre Dawson, you're speaking to the baseball crowd. Emmett Smith is an iconic legend in the world of sport. And Mike Bossy, I mean, that's a great lineup. Really well done to the organizers and everyone who brought guests with them. That was awesome. Chris makes a great point. The hardest part of organizing cards is getting started. You just got to start. Great advice right there. Terry says, yeah, Steve, main stage was great. I agree. Nice hat. Thank you, Gareth. I'll pay for it. Well, I paid for them. I got 12 of these. My buddy Jordan makes swag. So I ordered 12 hats and I've still got all of them except for, I wear one sometimes, but they're awesome. I haven't decided. I've had them for like a month and a half and I haven't done anything with them to decide to sell them or what, but they're awesome. Emmett is a genius and a GOAT. I didn't know he was a genius. That's pretty cool. Nice to know. Anyway, so we're at the hour 24 mark, Ameet. I mean, I've still got some gas in the tank here. I can go for another half hour or so.
I've been ad-libbing it with Carlos for most of the day with the Amish Dave. I can keep going. I mean, there's no point stopping now. It's kind of funny. While you were talking, I actually went and snuck a peek at my eBay auction, and I bought a card on ComC.
That you could have bought on ComC.
No, I bought a card on ComC and I went to check my auction.
Oh, I see. You've actually been buying cards in the last 5 minutes. I love it. Hey.
I'm like, could I keep refresh? So just so you guys are aware, I habitually have ComC on. So I'm refreshing, and then I see stuff, I just buy it, and I talk to you. I'm trying to be subliminal about it, and it's working.
It's okay, man. You do your thing. You do your thing. There's no rules. Gareth, I have a Cam Neely I could trade for the hat. Let me guess. Is it a Fleer all-time greats Cam Neely PSA 10 Pop 1? Andrew Oliver says, great lineup today. Would like to see Bossy get more hobby love with card collecting. Yeah, I mean, deserves it. I don't know who this is. Says, I want a hat, Jeremy. I will trade you company swag. Don't know your... who is that? Who is that?
You know, I should just put $100 price tag on your hat and see if it goes.
Yeah. You never know. You never know. We'll figure something out one of these days. I'm going to throw up for anyone who's out there who doesn't follow me on Instagram or Twitter. There's the accounts for my Sports Cards Live accounts on Instagram, Twitter, and an email as well. If you're interested, feel free to follow on those. Likely follow you back. Here, what does Carlos say? Sorry, he says, my only regret is that we couldn't record Ameet's booth because for the time I was on, we basically had a bonus podcast stream that would have been great content for YouTube. That's true, Carlos. You kind of don't want to waste the content when it would go great on the channel, for sure. Trade a Ziggy for the hat. How many Palfy rookies for a hat? Like all of them. All of them.
2,498. That's what I'm just telling you right now on ComC.
You've got to find all of them.
One thing I will say is,
I like this.
Sorry, go ahead.
A hat to every sale over 50, so I'd lose money. Hat to every sale over 500, we can talk. Jeremy, it's Chris, it's me. What the heck? Chris, I'm gonna do you a favor right now. Look at the ticker at the bottom. It says go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and click the big blue button. StreamYard.com/Facebook. If not, watch this show on YouTube. I encourage everybody to watch the show on YouTube instead of Facebook.
So what I was trying to say before is I gained 13 followers today on Instagram after the show.
After this one tonight here?
After the expo. I got 13 extra followers. Like, so people must have been really paying attention to the handles.
Very cool. Very cool. It's fun. Instagram has become, to me, like one of, along with YouTube, my two main places where I hobby. It used to be more the message boards, Hobby Insider, which I own, and I love Hobby Insider, but I enjoy my hobby experience more on YouTube, Instagram, and then a third would maybe be Facebook and all the various Facebook groups. I think I'd put Hobby Insider ahead of Facebook, but there's many options now. Great places to enjoy the hobby, and Instagram is just a lot of fun. There's just the amount of like bull on there is very minimal. You don't see a lot of arguments and just idiocracy, if that's the word, or like you get on Facebook and message boards a lot of the time.
I agree.
Joe Perot, welcome. Happy Saturday night to you, my friend. Joe joined me on After Hours a few weeks ago. Joe, hope to see you at the expo tomorrow. If you haven't come, go to Sport Card Expo. Let's actually put that up. Guy, for anyone that wasn't there today, here's the expo's website address. You go there, you register for the show. You will get an email with a link that'll bring you right into the expo tomorrow, the virtual expo. Hope to see many more people out there tomorrow. We saw lots today, but let's see even more tomorrow. And yes, Chris West, like 100,000 Palfy rookies might get you a Sports Cards Live hat. Joe, Alex says, didn't see any Pokemon or soccer in your folders. Tisk, tisk. You didn't see any in mine. That is correct. Dave Archer says, I don't think we could ever replicate our discussion, Carlos. It's rare we talk long and in depth. Right, exactly.
It was a really, really good conversation, Jeremy. We got into some topics, and it was how we're normally like 95% silly and 5% serious. Yeah, it was the other way around.
Well, so listen, let's hear a little bit about what you guys were actually talking about. Like, what was the best topic? Let's share the content here.
We're talking about CSG, the new label. Then we got into like the maturation of the hobby as an industry. Like you're hearing crossover from people from Microsoft going over to PSA. So we're talking about if you compare the industry as an infant, right? The 80s, it was about a zero-year-old, right? And then in the 90s, it was 1-year-old, and then 2000, 2-year-olds. We're getting older, right? and the maturation of a hobby, right? So as you get maturation of a hobby, you get corporate clients coming in, people with proper clout that are actually going to bring more wealth and knowledge and more regulation and for the hobby as itself. And we're talking about like the different variation of grading. So there's so many grading companies out. Is it too much, too little? Are they going to cannibalize each other? Is one going to take out the other competition? There was a lot of content around that, and I found it super engaging, super interesting. Like it was enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah. I find it's always fun to look back on the hobby and just frame it, like find different ways to frame it to make it make sense to ourselves and to other people by finding these analogies to other things and how other things have progressed. Or I like what Yamwax has done on Instagram lately, where he's taken Pokemon cards and kind of said, okay, here's the Honus Wagner of Pokemon cards. Here's the 52 Tops Mickey Mantle. Here's the Derek Jeter. Here's the Mike Trout. It helps sports card people kind of understand that the Pokemon, and I'm not saying it only works for Pokemon, it'll work for a lot of things, but those are always fun discussions. I always enjoy listening in on those. I want to point out to Gareth, I put up the Twitter address here again. It's Sports Cards LIV1. I just couldn't get to the regular Sports Cards Live. I was probably a decade late, but Sports Cards LIV1 is my Twitter account for anybody that uses Twitter. We've got some more comments that have come through. Let's see what we have here. Facebook user again, Amber and Jeremy. I think he means Ameet and Jeremy. I will try and join in tomorrow. Let's make an Oilers deal for sure. Come visit us tomorrow at the show, or I'll trade a signed Charles Hind card for that. I'd love a signed Charles Hind card, Charles. That'd be awesome. Pop one. Perfect. Yep. Ameet. Sorry about the spell check. There's
autograph request, Jeremy. I had an autograph request. I'll be sending this to Amish Dave Archer. He had requested a through the mail autograph. So just so you know, I have a card going out.
Awesome. That's Ameet's rookie card in the fashion of the 85 Lemieux rookie. Very nice. Very nice. Dave Kaplan, welcome back. Dave joined me on stage today. Thank you, Dave. Says, did CSG have anything other than a video in their booth? They did at times. They weren't there the whole time, Dave, but earlier in the day, after I interviewed them on the main stage, they were in their booth for whatever span of time, taking questions, but they weren't there all day. I can't say anything more about that, but hopefully they will be there tomorrow. If Steve Menzie is still watching, Steve, any idea if the CSG folks will be at their booth at all tomorrow? Would love to hear. Carlos says, also various hobby company responses to COVID and the challenges they're facing and how that had an impact. Yeah, that's really, really good discussion, right? And it's important for the hobby at large to I believe, I'm not going to tell anybody how to think. I'm just going to say, I do believe that we need to be patient with all the companies that are in the hobby, from PSA, BGS, SGC, COMC, Upper Deck, Panini, Topps, Leaf, all these companies that are putting out services and products that may not happen in the timely manner that you'd like them to. We got to cut them some slack during this during 2020, especially during 2020. And that's just what I'll put out there. Let's try and exercise some patience here. Are my thoughts. You are enjoyable, Amish Dave. You are enjoyable. Big important question here from Chris West. Ameet, does Ameet's rookie card have a glitter parallel? Maybe a tiger stripe?
You are ideas. I may have to. Maybe I can pull it off to do like. Do you think I should do it like this?
Just get some glitter on there, buddy.
Like checkerboard glitter, or is it more like this kind of glitter?
Oh, there we go. Ooh, what's that? That's not a yellow taxi. What's that called? The green sparkler?
Green quartz.
Green quartz. Okay, a few more comments I want to get to quickly, Ameet, here. Gareth says CSG were there at their booth for about an hour after the main stage interview, asking all questions. That's good to see. Dave Kaplan wants to know, is CSG going to do 0.2 increments for grades over 9? I think that's not the worst idea, just like they do for comics. Steve Menzie says, yes, the 2 graders from CSG are supposed to be there at some point tomorrow. Not sure the exact times, and I'm out. Great show. Thanks for leading the way on the virtual. Thank you, Steve. We'll see you tomorrow. Hockey says they can't grade from home and hard to scale up during the pandemic unless they lease more offices. And more importantly than leasing more offices is hiring more staff and dealing with staff that are required to call in sick for 2 weeks after coming in contact with a COVID case. So it's just tough times right now. You're treading on dangerous ground. Ameet, glitter never goes away. And that's true. I know, I've got a young daughter. That's a devil's bargain. Yeah, you may not want to stay away from the glitter and just stick with the shine. Stick with the shine.
Okay. I'll do that.
Ameet.
I could get someone at what was this kind of like glitter?
Like a prism.
Yeah.
You have another request. Charles is interested. How may one receive an Ameet rookie? I think, Charles, the best way is to visit Ameet at his booth tomorrow at the expo. Ameet's booth is called 99 Goals. Go visit Ameet tomorrow, and I think you will. I think you will be able to maybe get one if you're lucky. He's got a box full.
I got 500 of these bad boys.
Awesome. I've got an autographed copy that is not. You won't find it at my booth tomorrow. It's not for sale. Legion says bye to Steve. Rich is back. I can probably make you a rainbow parallel, Ameet. There you go. There you go.
I might have to take him up on that.
Let's see what Gareth. I don't blame you. Gareth says, I agree. We need to be patient with these companies, but with that, they shouldn't be raising prices on us, or maybe give us a couple vouchers for future orders for being patient. I hear what you're saying. But then you have to apply that, I believe, to every business in the economy right now that is not providing service like they used to. And I don't know that that's really appropriate. I hear what you're saying, but I don't know that I completely agree with the giving us something for free because they are behind because of COVID, and because COVID has created this spark in the hobby that they just couldn't have planned for. But anyway, I appreciate the point and something to think about. No, like glitter, you know, the kind of ones that's on you for a week. I know that kind, Chris. I know that kind. I like this comment from Legion. Keeping criticisms constructive and not accusatory is key. I think so. Hockey. Kevin O'Leary is my doppelganger. Oh, never heard that one before. And Chris West says, wow, he gave away his secrets. We know the print run of his rookie. The value is going to plummet. It's going to plummet, Ameet. I love it. Okay, I gotta say, I got nothing else on the agenda to talk about. We've had great comments. I thank everybody for them so far. A couple more just came in. Gareth says, "Okay, I agree. Maybe the vouchers are a bit much, but don't raise prices." That I can get behind that for sure. Ameet says, Carlos and I might have to re-engage the COVID discussion tomorrow. Clever plug on Carlos's channel. Carlos, and let's just let everybody know, Carlos does a Sunday night live stream. It's pretty much a regular thing now on the YouTube channel that is called Because I'm Carlos. Check it out. Good insights, great guests like Ameet and Amish Dave Archer, I myself included. He's had on Chris McGill from Card Ladder and House of Jordans. I think he's had Josh Johnson on as well from Card Ladder and Cardboard Chronicles. Some great guests there. Check it out. I will definitely be tuned in to that tomorrow if I'm not just exhausted and sleeping from almost 2 straight days of streaming.
Yeah.
Dave Kaplan says, do you know if CSG charges the upgrade fee if your card grade's higher than you estimated? Do not know that, Dave. That did not come up in my interview with them today. And so I just don't know if it came up later on in the day. But a great question to ask them tomorrow if you can catch them in their booth for sure. And Chris says they have to raise prices since prices on raw materials are going up. And that is a really good point. And that's just the way of the world. You know, that's just the way it is. But I don't know that that's why they raised prices. You know, the only reason they raised them, I think they raised some prices to discourage lower end cards from being graded. So it's a tough, it's a tough line for them to walk right now. Yes. Carlos also had Carvin Chung from Upper Deck, Panini, and inventor of the Cup and Exquisite on his channel. They did a 5.5 hour show. Hockey. What do you think of the viability of LCS? Personally, I see new entrants possibly losing everything unless they find some kind of way to make it feel like a community. So I think what you're talking about is the viability of new card shops opening. I think the key for that is, can you get product? Can you get allocation? If you cannot get allocation, I don't think you're going to survive unless you have a $1 million collection that you can put in your showcases. And even then, a lot of people really like to crack wax and buy unopened product. So if you get allocation, great. If not, then I think it's going to be tough. Carlos says nobody knows the pricing structure. My understanding is that is to come out later. Yeah, CSG has not put out their pricing structure yet. That was very clear today when I was interviewing them, and some questions were coming through about pricing. And one of the moderators was basically saying, don't ask that question because there's no answer yet. So you got to think it'll be competitive. I mean, these guys want to break into this competitive arena already. You've got Beckett, you got PSA, you've got SGC, and then you've got some smaller ones like MNT and KSA, Canadian companies and these are two Canadian companies that have been in the business. KSA has been in the business for 25, 30 years. Many of you haven't heard of them. MNT's been in the business for 3, 4, 5 years now. Many of you haven't heard of them. And these guys, I think they've gotten some market share, but just a little bit of market share. Like they're not threats to the big three. They're not even on the radar of the big three. CSG is going to be on the radar right away, and they are a threat because they are not brand new. So I definitely believe, have the ability to disrupt the current incumbents in the space. Terry says CSG hasn't announced pricing structure yet, but they have said there will be add-on charges. One example is $5 for subgrades. And, Beckett does that too. If you know it or not, Beckett gives you a cheaper price for no subgrades, which in essence is an upcharge for subgrades. So I think I think they will be expensive. If they come out cheap, they'll get flooded. I think they will be expensive. Yeah, and I just don't want anybody to take this that they will be expensive, because Terry very clearly says, I think they will be expensive. So I just don't want that to get out there that they will be. Dave Kaplan, okay, general question. What's the cheapest way to buy a box of Upper Deck 2021 shipped to Canada? Go to your LCS, I would say, if you can, if they still have any. Right now, it's going to be tough because I know that my LCS, I was in there yesterday, and I think he told me they sold that. They sold, I don't remember if it was 25 or 100 cases, but they sold it all. There was nothing left.
There's it's already gone up now to like 145 a box in some places. It'll be like 175 soon, I'm sure. Yeah.
Rod makes the very good point that competition is good for collectors, and it is, because if CSG comes out and they're expensive because they don't want to get flooded, then they're not going to get flooded, and then their business, depending on how their business model works, it may not be viable unless they have to find that balance between price and the volume they're going to get. And I think just me speculating, I think they're going to have success. I think they're going to, PSA and Beckett are going to be given a run for their money. They're not, they haven't had a serious competitor at all. SGC, is somewhat of a serious competitor, but I would venture to guess, if I had to use my gut feel as to how big the piece of the pie is for each of these companies, I'm going to guess that someone like PSA has like 60% of the market, Beckett's got like 35, and SGC has like 5. So how do you come in and take away from them? I can see each of them losing some to CSG, but who knows what it's really going to be. But that's my gut feel on how big the market is. I think PSA is the monster out there. And then
they have capital, right? PSA has capital. Beckett has capital. Pretty sure it's either SGC or CSG. I can't remember. Has capital to back them. So I think those guys will be fine. And it's the smaller guys to price them out. I think that's what's going to happen. I'll be honest with you. If they all go to CSG, fine. Just keep PSA. I'll just stay with PSA. That's just me. I'm just going to stick that way, and that's the way I'm going from now on.
And it's going to be tough to move over for a lot of people because, as collectors, we like that uniformity in our collection. We already have dozens, hundreds of thousands, some people, of cards graded by PSA and or Beckett and or SGC. So are you going to just add another slab to the mix? Maybe you will, but are you going to do submissions yourself, or would it more or less be like buying cards on, just secondary market? So tough to say. couple of comments have come in. Gareth says, are the Canadian grading companies you mentioned respectable or kind of like GMA in Florida? Gareth, I mean, they're, I don't know. Oh boy, that's a tough question to want to.
It's really relative to whoever is using them. I wouldn't comment which is one is better than the other. It all depends on who they're satisfying from a customer perspective. So I'd leave it at that.
Yeah, I think they have their challenges. The KSA and MNT have their challenges. And one of their biggest challenges is that they're not American companies because they just, the States is the biggest market and they're unaware that these two services exist. So that's kind of that's what I would say about that. I love this. Seb says, send a hat to Jesse the hater. That's too funny. Jeff says, hasn't it been confirmed that there will be multiple waves of Upper Deck Series 1 coming in the near future? I mean, I don't know that it's been confirmed. I can't really speak to that, Jeff, but I do think that the product does kind of get leaked out a little bit at a time, and that's got nothing. My understanding is that has nothing to do with Upper Deck. Upper Deck they print it, and let's be clear too. Upper Deck doesn't print it. Upper Deck has vendors that print their cards for them. Yeah. They don't print their cards, and those vendors are also used by Panini. So when they're done Upper Deck Series 1, it's over. They're not printing it again. Those plates come down. Panini's plates go in. Now they print for Panini. Then that's done. Then something else goes in. That's done. So it's not like they can just turn on the presses. Upper Deck doesn't own printing presses. Upper Deck does not print their own cards. It's outsourced to a vendor. So
the one thing I will say is it goes to EPAC. So it'll go out to EPAC in 2 months. So from release date. So around, what's that, November? So December-ish, you'll see it on EPAC.
Yeah, EPAC maybe what Jeff is kind of referring to. I don't think so, but EPAC is another sort of wave that does come out. Yeah. But let's be clear, the stuff isn't continuously printed. It's printed for a period of time, and then the printing stops, and it's never printed again. Nowadays, I'm not talking about what happened in 1991 with Upper Deck French. Like, we're not talking about that. Okay, sounds like junk then, Jeff. That's an interesting comment. Dave Kaplan, do you really want to pay more for CSG 10 if it's a better 10 than a PSA 10? Do you need something that is better than a PSA 10? That's a good question. Do you really need something better than a PSA 10? I mean, who knows? Beckett has a black 10, right, which is all all 10 subgrades, which is, somewhat gimmicky, but those cards command monster dollars. So it's the way it is. Hockey says BGS is number 3 with the fake slabs out there. I mean, Hockey, I don't know if you're new to the hobby, but fake slabs is not a new thing. It's just not a new thing. It's new for Beckett. So Beckett might be number 1 actually, because they're like the last company to get hit by the fake slab problem. So again, if you've been around for the hobby for 25 years, you've seen these things happen. So the point is, it's not new. Chris says, the struggle of putting cards away or keeping on my desk for future Instagram or Twitter posts. Man, I have that exact same struggle. Exact same struggle, man. Oh, boy, that's too funny.
I try to get to like the 1 post a day, and then I'll do it tomorrow. Then I pack them away, and I'm like, oh, crap. I got to find something to post.
Terry says, I personally have slabs from all of the big 3 in my PC. I'll add SGS. So you have SGC already. You mean CSG, and these acronyms are getting to be a mouthful, but you'll as well, if you see a Todd Helton, you like, yeah, I've got slabs from PSA, BGS, and SGC in my collection. I only have one SGC actually, but I got several PSA and BGS, and I will have no problem adding CSG slabs to my collection. I mean, I won't, because I've met the guys. These are seasoned graders, and they're bringing competition to the space, which I think we all want to see. Colin says, PSA is king whether you like it or not. Just crossed a KSA 5 into a PSA 5. That's rare to cross a KSA 5 to the same grade on PSA. So congrats on that, Colin. And I have to agree, Colin is right. PSA today and up until today is the king of the grading hobby. Luke says, I hear MNT is a tough grader and pretty legit. Well, I've heard they're a tough grader too. They only have, my understanding is they only have 1 grader. Legit or not, what does the market think? That's really where it comes in. And not just what the market thinks, but what's the how much are they going to be able to penetrate the market, and how is the market going to respond to them? And so far, I can tell you, I very rarely see M&T cards for sale on eBay, in card show showcases, that kind of thing. So, but they're new, and these things take time. And if they maintain their consistency and they maintain their tough grading, maybe they will steal more of the market share. Best of luck to them.
Like, just from what I see, like, if here's an example, right? There's the BGS version and the PSA version. I like the PSA version because it's smaller, it's thinner. Sorry, I should say, not as thick. I find that I don't need the color labels. The labels don't do it for me. I'm not gimmicky, right? This is clearly written. I can see it. It's easier. This is a bit harder to read, right? I just like PSA slab. They just look better to me overall, right?
Yeah, I do too. I like both slabs for different reasons, but I like PSA's slab because it's like skinnier, so you can just fit more cards in your box. You have room for more in your collection. It's really what it comes down to for me.
I also think it's easier to see the card, right? Like, if you look at the BGS one, it feels far away, right?
Yeah.
Plastic. Yeah. This one feels closer, right?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's a neat perspective for sure. Charles says MNT is very good, just under SGC. KSA is slightly better than GMA. Very slight, though. So there's another perspective. Thank you, Charles, for sharing that. Hockey says, Jeremy dropping the info on how companies use vendors for printing shows why he is a PSA 10 in content creation. Thank you, Hockey 99. And that post came up twice, so we'll skip the second one. Gareth says, that's what I like about PSA 10s. It's a 10. It's the best. No gimmicks, which I thought was a shame that CSG has the perfect 10, which is like a BGS 10 or an SGC 10. The one thing I'll say about a 10 is that not all 10s are the same. I mean, I think you probably know this, Gareth, and most people out there know this, but not all 10s are the same. Not all 9s are the same. Not all 8s are the same. There's a range in there for all the grades. Ryan O'Hara says, BGS used to be king. Times can change. I mean, I've never known that time. I've never known a time when BGS was king. PSA has been king from the beginning, as far as I've known. BGS was preferred in the hobby for modern cards for a long time, and they still are, I believe, generally speaking, but PSA has broken some of that, taken some of that market share. And I don't know that Beckett has taken any of the vintage market share away from PSA. So I don't remember a day when BGS was ever the king, but I'd be curious to understand where that perception came from.
They caused the most noise, I would say, in terms of how they put themselves out. They create a lot of noise and buzz, but like PSA is more underhanded. So I think from that perspective, that's probably where it comes from.
Could be. Terry says PSA is king for resale for sure. I prefer BGS slabs though over all others, and you're not alone, Terry. A lot of people definitely feel that way. Hockey says BGS seems to be innovating as well as Blockbuster Video. Gareth says I like uniformity, so I love the PSA flip. Colin says and PSA slabs are durable. Wink, wink. So he's talking about. Well, they're not, Colin, and he sent me pictures of this, Colin did. They're not durable when a truck runs over them. No slab is durable. There was actually tread marks on his PSA slab that they ran over the post office or wherever it happened. But luckily, it wasn't as bad as it could have been for Colin. Going to keep running through. Paul says, easy now, I'd say Jeremy is a 9.5 with a 10 subgrade on surface.
I'm authentic.
Yeah. Ameet's the trimmed authentic.
Yeah,
Literally trimmed. How much weight have you lost in the last couple of years, Ameet?
Over 75 pounds.
How many?
Over 75 pounds.
So you're a PSA trimmed authentic, buddy.
Trimmed authentic. Oh,
so here we go. Ryan says early 2000s BGS outsold PSA. I mean, maybe on some cards, but even in the early 2000s, BGS was very new, and PSA had been around for like 8 or so years by then. So. And I mean, I was in the hobby in the early 2000s. I don't really remember that too well, but maybe I'm wrong. Colin, which booth is yours at the expo? Colin, throw that out there, please, and I'll put it up. Hockey says, would anyone try to cross a Gretzky or Jordan from PSA, BGS, SGC over to CSG? I mean,
who knows?
Not yet. Somebody will. But in general, not yet. But if they do things perfect, almost perfect even, right out of the get-go, I think you could see people shifting over. And it depends. Is PSA and is BGS, are they going to I don't want to say up their game because I'm not blaming them for anything. I don't blame Beckett for having fake slabs on the market now. I don't blame PSA for there being fake slabs out there. But are these guys going to, is this new serious competition going to cause the incumbents to up their game at all? I don't know. How will they? Terry wants to congratulate you on your weight loss here. And one more, Rich says, when I started really collecting higher-end cards in 02, 03 and on, BGS seemed to be everywhere because they were in the Be a Player Ultimate sets. Yeah, that's one set that they were in for sure. Colin Murray's booth is called Hockey Card Exchange, guys. Hockey Card Exchange for your, and Colin, I mean, feel free to post up kind of the type of cards, yeah, but it's mostly vintage. I know he's got a lot of star cards. He's got a lot of like tougher commons from the 50s and 60s and 70s. So great place to fill in sets and to find some great vintage star cards as well. Jeff says, based on your discussion with CSG, will they have a black label and or SGC PRI comparable like you mentioned? I love their slab. We did, I'll be honest with you, Jeff, we did talk about their grade scale, but I wasn't able to absorb everything they were saying back to me because I was just kind of planning my next question. But so if they said it, I didn't hear it. Rod says BGS needs a couple of graders so they have some work to do. Yeah, all these companies need to be hiring. ComC needs to be hiring. And Barry said it on the show on Wednesday. All the companies need to be hiring. Paul says, amusing I heard about CSG is you're going to need a big auction house to feature them, set a record or two with something. Yeah, and that's going to happen. I mean, I got to think that's going to happen. Yeah. Lars says BGS has the nicest slabs when they're real. I mean, okay, first of all, guys, this whole fake BGS slab thing, you guys realize that there's a handful of them out there, a minuscule amount. It's likely that none of us have any fake BGS slabs in our collection. And if you're heavy on Zion BGS 9.5s or Luca BGS 9.5s, you may be at risk. But if you are sitting on numbered cards that are numbered, you don't have any fake slabs in your collection. Numbered cards, older cards that you can actually know where the condition isn't great and you can actually tell them from each other. Fake slabs only work in the world of commodity cards. And in the world of hockey, which a lot of us are hockey people, we don't have a lot of commodity cards. There's some, of course. You got your young guns, but that's really about it. So don't be so worried about these fake slabs. I think a lot of people are using it as a reason to just throw hate at Beckett. And I mean, it's like I just want to say, like, settle down. Like, it's not that rampant. And not to say don't know about it, and not to say don't be aware of it and be cautious. Sure. But it's not like they've infiltrated everybody's collections. Gareth says the major thing, if they haven't prepared for this and hired enough graders for a large amount of orders and don't get backlog like the others will do, they will do well, I think. And yeah, I think they will too. They have to hire up and they have to be ready for the influx of submissions that they get. Wow, more and more comments coming through, guys. Ameet, how you doing? We'll sign off in a couple minutes here.
I'm good. I'm already here this long. That's another 5 minutes.
It's only midnight. You get to sleep in tomorrow. The show doesn't, well, show-wise, it doesn't start till 11 a.m. for you. I got to be up. It starts at 9 for me. So you can actually, I'm going to go. You carry on the show.
Okay, I'm down with that.
What else we got here? Luke, have a good night. Try and make it out. Great. Hope to see you tomorrow night, Luke. If you're still here, thanks for coming by. Colin's pricing Young Guns right now. Awesome. So he's got some modern day stuff as well. Terry says they did say they will have a perfect 10 that compares to Black Label. So there you go. Colin Murray's got 50s, 60s, and 70s of all sports at his booth. And his booth is called All-Star Sports. Sorry, Hockey Card Exchange. Sorry, Colin, Hockey Card Exchange. Gareth says back to Jeff, yes, they have a version of the Black Label. There you go. I hope Ameet's Larkin Slab is legit.
Oh, it's good. I checked.
Skipped my last comment. I skipped your last comment, Dave Kaplan. Did I? I got to go back and check. Let me see. What was Dave's? Oh, I would like PSA. Sorry, Dave. I didn't even realize that. I would like PSA to have subgrades or give the submitter access to graders' notes. Me too. I want those graders' notes. Why can't they just include them? Like, you're paying for a service. Tell us what you did. Tell us what you did. I'm with you 100% on that, Dave Kaplan. CGC gives submitters access to graders' notes, which are helpful. So CGC is the comic book and coin and all that version of CSG. They're the same company, just different service. Thanks for that. Very good point, Dave. Appreciate that. And I didn't realize that I passed you by. Poutine looking for rare Marchessault. So that tells me, Poutine, are you the guy that's on Hobby Insider that collects Marchessault? If you are, welcome to the show. Marchie Cards at Marchie Cards. If anyone has any Marchessault cards for Poutine, you can reach him at Marchie Cards.
I could go for some poutine right now, though.
Yeah, right. I just got hungry too.
It's like, oh, this sucks.
We ordered in Fat Burger for dinner tonight on Skip the Dishes. So I had my burger and fries fixed tonight, actually, which was delicious. Alex says, if they spend time and money to copy that BGS slabs, I think they will not make a few.
Jeremy, give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Sure, man. So I think what Alex is saying is that if they copied the BGS slab, you don't think that will work for them? They did not copy their slab. They showed it today, and it's actually stunning. I thought it was beautiful. Gareth was looking for some poutine. Hockey. I thought Marchie is Brad Marchand. Well, there can be two. There can be two Marchies out there. We lose Ameet. We're at the end of the comments. I need some water. Poutine. I love it. Next time we're in Montreal, I think you're in Montreal. If you are, we got to come to Montreal and get you to make some poutine for us. Oh, it's been a long day of streaming, guys. A long day. Paul says the thing to consider, it's not just hiring graders. There's a process to learning the different card. And I asked the question today of these guys. I said, what expertise do you guys bring to the table? That is, obviously card grading is easy. Not easy, sorry, but it's easy. It's the easy part of it because it's right in front of you and you can assess the card's condition from what you see. But how much expertise do they bring in authenticating the card? Is the card authentic? Are there fakes coming in, counterfeits that are sliding by? Are there new fakes being produced as we speak? Did someone find some old OPG or top stock? Like, who knows? If that's the case, then we need security around card authenticity. Card grading, easy enough to train. I'm not saying it's easy to train. I'm saying it's easier, I believe, to train than training to spot authentic cards.
Yeah.
Bell Center for sure. Jump in, Ameet.
I said, yeah, I agreed with your point. It just takes a while to train that.
Yeah, being able to spot a counterfeit, and you always being on the lookout out for it. Every card that you grade, being on the lookout for it, For sure. I'm going to throw back up here. We'll throw Ameet's Instagram back up there for anyone that wants to follow Ameet on Instagram at Titan Hockey Stick. We'll leave that for a few minutes. What those two rats can fight each other for that nickname. Is Marchessault a rat? I think he seems like a pretty good dude. Marchand, he's a rat, but great player still. What's acceptable for the grade, etc. Yeah. Is there a link to the streams of the expo? Yeah. Steve Menzie, who runs the expo, posted earlier tonight, Hockey, that you go to the Sports Card and Memorabilia Expo Facebook page. He said that the streams are up there. So you got to go to their Facebook page for them. JR, welcome, says, are there different colors of slabs? LOL. Ameet loves that.
God. JR, is that JR?
Yeah, that's JR.
My God.
I don't know if there's different color slabs. I didn't get that from them today, but I got to think there probably will be. And I kind of hope there isn't, but maybe there will be.
It would be like so wrong.
Let's see what Carlos says. He says there's also the consideration that for the lead graders, they will need to be able to effectively train others, unless we're expecting them to grade all the cards, which we're not. Yeah, a great point, right? You can be a perfect, wonderful, expert grader, but how good are you at conveying that expertise and like moving it over to somebody else, transposing it from your brain to someone else's brain? Is that how good are you at training? And I don't know if that's really what you meant, Carlos, but I think that's another thing to consider. Never mind the time it takes, because what I've heard from grading company people, and I've now interviewed Beckett staff and CSG staff, is that it takes like 8 weeks. Like, this isn't something that you come in for 3 shifts and you know how to grade. So it's that may be why they haven't launched yet. So good on them for not prematurely launching as well. And that's part of the reason for the backlog at Beckett and PSA as well is, they can't just go hiring people and right away they're off into the races and that backlog clears up in the next month. It's just not the way it works. Hockey, how would one be fired from a grading job for performance reasons? Yeah, not grading properly, obviously. Maybe not showing up to work. The way you get fired from any job. How do they track performance metrics other than speed of grading? Accuracy. That's how they do it. Yes, Marchessault is a rat, big whiner, and a baby online. Okay. I don't think Poutine will be happy to hear that. I think he's friends with Marchie, actually, or Marchessault. But anyway, Charles says, Jeremy, I'm making a want list from you right now. Alumni pricing. We can negotiate tomorrow, Carlos. I'll be there ready to go. Hockey says, Carlos is raising his hand the same way Andre the Giant raised his hand after winning the Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2. That is precisely what I'm referring to. A key point raised on the podcast that no one will ever see again. You had to be there. Cool. Okay, guys, that's the end of the comments. We're over the 2-hour mark. We're tired. We got more streaming to do tomorrow.
Yeah. How did we get to 2 hours, dude?
I don't know, man. It goes by so fast. So before we get out of here, any more comments that come in, we will address. But before we get out of here, I'll just quickly mention again to everybody, first of all, thanks for joining tonight. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do. Please hit the like. Greatly appreciate it. Let you all know that this Wednesday, Tracy Hackler from Panini, longtime employee of Panini, will be joining me on the Wednesday episode of Sports Cards Live. Then next Saturday, Ken Reed, anchor on Sportsnet, will be joining me. He's got a new book out. We're going to talk about that and cards. He's a hockey card lover. He just had an article, I believe, on Sportsnet like today talking about the rise in the sports cards world. So check that out. And then I got Brian Gray from the Leaf CEO coming on December 2nd. He's always a great guest. We get great turnout, and boy, does he have some great information, thoughts, perspectives on the hobby and the market. So check that one out. And then the Saturday after that, we got Joe Daly from Joe Daly Sports Cards in Winnipeg, also former NHL goalie. Been in the sports card business for over 30 years. Just a great guy. So check out all those upcoming episodes as well. Terry, great show, Jeremy and Ameet. Thanks. I'll hopefully see you both tomorrow. Yeah, hope to see you tomorrow. Legion.
Sure.
Legion, seven rounds of applause. That's I love it. Legion, thank you so much. Great to see you as always. Eric, thanks to you. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Poutine. Great to have you. Thanks for showing up to the channel tonight. Amish Dave, see you tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you at the booth. Gareth, thanks to you. Great night. Thanks for interacting tonight. Carlos, you're asking me. That's usually, yeah. How do you arrive at the 2-hour mark, Ameet? That's usually halftime for Carlos. That's right. Hockey. Great to have you tonight. Thanks for all your questions and comments. Paul, good to have you. Rich, check it out. Check it out later. We'll see you at the expo tomorrow. Chris West throws us like 15 stars. Thank you, Chris. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for all your comments tonight. Thanks to everyone for all the interaction tonight. When is the Starstock CEO going to be back? He has been rescheduled to December the 19th. Saturday, December 19th. Scott Greenberg, the CEO of Starstock, will be joining me. Al, thanks for being here in the background. Quiet. I'm sure you're busy, but thanks for being here, Al. Always great. And we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Ryan, thanks for subscribing. Way better live than on the podcast. Appreciate that, man. Great to have you. JR, come by the show tomorrow. Say hello, JR. Good. Yeah, JR. Will be good to see you. C. Barry still in the house. Good night to you, Barry. Thanks for coming. We'll see you at the show tomorrow, hopefully. And with that, we are done. Good night, everybody. See you at the Sport Card Virtual Expo tomorrow, and we'll see you back on Sports Cards Live as we keep on moving through 2020 and into 2021. Ameet, say good night.
Good night, guys. Good night, gals.
All right, everybody. Ameet, hang out right there for a sec. Good night, everybody. We are ending broadcast.